Chapter 521. The Orchid Burrow Celestial River King had an average appearance, with a big nose and small eyes. However, the ribbon of a Celestial River King tied around his head gave him a bit of an imposing aura. Compared to the average-looking Celestial River King, the woman beside him surprised Ning Cheng. That beautiful woman should be Imperial concubine Xian Yu, right? No wonder this place is called the Revolving Jade City. Ning Cheng whispered. This woman was so beautiful that it made sense for the Orchid Burrow Celestial River King to dote on her. The beauty of Imperial concubine Xian Yu and Shi Yulan were completely different. One was like a flower bud that had not yet bloomed, while the other was a dazzling rose that had already bloomed. Keep your voice down. Don't talk casually in this place. Shi Yulan quickly spoke up. She had seen a Celestial River King before and knew the terror of a Celestial River King. Even if they whispered here, it might reach the ears of the Orchid Burrow King. Ning Cheng just smiled and did not continue to speak. Since his words were muffled, even if the Orchid Burrow Celestial River King was a heaven-seated cultivator, he would not be able to hear his voice. However, Shi Yulan's words might have been overheard. The Orchid Burrow Celestial River King, along with his beautiful concubine, landed on the main altar of the Orchid Burrow Public Square and swept out with his spiritual consciousness. When the spiritual consciousness swept past Ning Cheng felt a chill run down his spine. It felt as if he was standing naked in front of someone else's eyes. Ning Cheng knew that it was just an illusion, but it also showed the terror of this Celestial River King. Moreover, this was just an ordinary Celestial River King. If it were a powerful Celestial River King, he could not imagine how powerful he would be. When the public square turned silent, the Orchid Burrow Celestial River King spoke up with a clear voice. I am very happy today. The people here today are the elites of my Orchid Burrow Celestial River. In the future, the Orchid Burrow Celestial River will belong to you, and the Striking Order Starry Skies will also have your shadows. I hope that in the future, outside of the Striking Order Starry Skies, there will be powerhouses saying that they came from the Orchid Burrow Celestial River. It would be the happiest thing for me. The reason why the Striking Order Starry Skies hosts the Celestial Scryer Genius Tryouts is to rush out of our starry skies and into the vast universe. My Orchid Burrow Celestial River has many geniuses, and the ones selected to participate in the Orchid Burrow Celestial River Division's selections number 1.06 million Celestial Scryer Realm Geniuses. I can't wait for all these geniuses to enter the time wilderness. However, the Striking Order Starry Skies has too many celestial rivers, not just our Orchid Burrow Celestial River. Our Orchid Burrow Celestial River can only select 10,000 geniuses from the more than 1 million geniuses to enter the time wilderness. Everyone understood what it meant for a Starry Skies decorator to enter the time wilderness. That means that you can go further in the future and rush higher. The thunderous cheers indicated that the Orchid Burrow Celestial River King still had a certain level of support. The Orchid Burrow Celestial River King showed a smile, raised his hand, and continued, because there are too many geniuses participating in the tournament, we will use a one-off method to decide the winner in one day. Ning Cheng already knew the method of selection, but he still paid attention to it. If possible, he also wanted to help the Jing Wuming trio. As for Wan Mingshu, he was sure that she would be able to pass the selection, so there was no need for him to worry about her. Completing the selection of 1 million cultivators in a single day was indeed very fast. Many people already know that this selection will be conducted through the Orchid Burrow Celestial River's 9-step profound array. The Orchid Burrow Celestial River's Grand Array was established by the Striking Order Starry Skies premier mysterious array grandmaster, Shen Mingzi. It is fair and just for all of us. The 10,000 geniuses who can walk the furthest in our Orchid Burrow Celestial River's 9-step profound array will represent the Orchid Burrow Celestial River to head to the Striking Order Starry Skies. While the Orchid Burrow Celestial River King spoke from the stage, some whispers had already broken out. Ning Cheng had never seen an obscure array before. However, he had heard from Wan Mingshu that there were some differences between obscure arrays and array formations. To pass through the obscure arrays, one did not mainly rely on one's attainments in array formations, but on one's celestial essence, spiritual consciousness, perception, and the ability to calculate and combine them. It was somewhat similar to the gambling arrays in casinos, which were a branch of the obscure arrays. The ranks of the obscure arrays were uncertain, but the Orchid Burrow Celestial River's 9-step profound array meant that this obscure array had 9 gates. Each gate was related to a cultivator's celestial essence, spiritual consciousness, and perception. The Orchid Burrow Celestial River's obscure array's entrance and exit have already been set up on the Orchid Burrow Public Square. The results of the participating geniuses will also be displayed on the Orchid Burrow Public Square's array formation display. The tournament will now begin. After the Orchid Burrow Celestial River King finished, he immediately flew up from the high altar with his concubine and landed on the main viewing platform. A moment later, the main altar he had just stood on automatically caved in, and a huge transfer array entrance appeared. A long-bearded old man appeared next to this array entrance, took out a jade pillar and erected it before speaking. All the cultivators participating in the selection, please take out your identity jade card and hang it on your chest before entering the transfer array entrance. If you are not a participant, please do not enter. Otherwise, you will be directly blocked and killed on the spot. After the old man finished speaking, he quickly stood to one side. Many of the participating cultivators hung their identity jade cards on their chests and walked into the transfer array entrance. The 10 blank array formation screens in the middle of the Orchid Burrow Grand Public Square also quickly showed some names. Senior Apprentice Brother Ning, let's go in together. We can look after each other. Yuan Mingshu walked to Ning Cheng's side and whispered. Ning Cheng took out the jade card and hung it on his chest before asking, Junior Apprentice Sister Mingshu, are you sure you can enter the top 10,000? Yuan Mingshu nodded. I've entered the obscure array before, so I'm sure I can enter the top 10,000. How about this? You go in first, I'll discuss it with a few friends. Ning Cheng rejected Yuan Mingshu's proposal. Yuan Mingshu looked at Jing Wuming, Lanya and the others before speaking up with some disappointment. Okay, then I'll go in first. Senior Apprentice Brother Ning, no matter what, you must pass through this selection. Although Yuan Mingshu's words did not contain any threat, Ning Cheng still felt a little uncomfortable in his heart. It was a disguised message to him that he and the Yuan clan were cooperating, and that he should not fail the selection because of others. After Yuan Mingshu left, Ning Cheng turned to the Lanya trio and asked, Are you sure about it? Jing Wuming hesitated for a moment before speaking. I'm not sure about it, but I still have some confidence. Lanya also nodded. I'm the same as Wuming, I'm not sure about it. We have to go in and see for ourselves before we know anything. However, I believe that we still have a chance to pass. Shi Yulan remained silent until Ning Cheng looked at her. She then spoke up, I'm not sure about it. Ning Cheng pondered for a moment before speaking up through sound transmission. Let's do it this way. I'll be in a group with Shi Yulan, while Wuming and Senior Apprentice Sister Lan will be in another group. We'll go in first. Wuming, you and Senior Apprentice Sister Lan will follow me closely. Whether we succeed or not, let's give it a try first. Remember, don't move after going in. If you don't receive my message, it means that you cannot cheat in this obscure array, and everyone can only rely on their luck to break through. If you can receive my message, then don't worry about it. Okay. Jing Wuming and the other two responded at the same time, agreeing with Ning Cheng's statement. If the 4 of them went in together, then they would be able to look after each other. The Orchid Burrow Public Square's transfer array entrance was massive. Even if hundreds of people entered side by side, it would not feel crowded. More than 1 million participants quickly poured into the array entrance, and soon half of them had entered. Ning Cheng and Shi Yulan lined up side by side in front, while Jing Wuming and Lanya followed closely behind Ning Cheng and Shi Yulan as they entered the transfer array entrance. As soon as they stepped into the transfer array entrance, Ning Cheng felt his body turn empty, and a moment later, he landed on the ground. Ning Cheng looked at the surrounding scene. It was a spacious hall, and in front of him was a wall more than 10 meters away. The wall and the floor of the hall were covered with some mysterious patterns. He was the only person in the entire hall, and no one else could be seen. Not to mention Jing Wuming and Lanya, even Shi Yulan, who came in with him, could not see him. Although the hall in front of him did not have an exit, Ning Cheng was not in a hurry. Since it was an obscure array, then he would have to choose his own exit. He carefully extended his spiritual consciousness out, but when his spiritual consciousness touched the wall of the hall, it immediately blocked. Ning Cheng did not take it back just because it blocked his spiritual consciousness. He had tried many times and found that his spiritual consciousness could penetrate some of the array formations that shielded spiritual consciousness, or even the natural restrictions that restricted spiritual consciousness. He had already verified this when he obtained the fire origin bead. Sure enough, when Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness forcibly penetrated the wall, his spiritual consciousness slowly penetrated through the wall. He then saw a frowning Shi Yulan, as well as Jing Wuming and Lanya on the other side. In addition to that, he also saw some other participating cultivators. Ning Cheng gave out a sigh. The starry sky's sea of consciousness truly was powerful, and he felt sure that there was no one else like him. This rank 9 obscure array should also be a huge spatial treasure. Moreover, it contained so much space within it. Shi Yulan stood in the middle of the hall in a daze. Her spiritual consciousness could only wander around the hall, so how could she receive Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness message? Moreover, this was only the first level, yet she did not know how to deal with it. What should she do next? At this moment, she felt Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness message. Don't worry, you can pass the first level by calculating and using celestial essence. From here to the wall of the hall, there is a layer of celestial essence resistance in the middle. You must not retreat. Once you retreat, you will immediately be sent out. Moreover, there is also a pattern under your feet. As for the specific landing position, you will need to calculate it through the patterns in the hall. If you make a mistake, you will also be sent out. You should be able to pass this first level. However, if you can't pass it, don't rush to leave. Just stay where you are. Shi Yulan felt pleasantly surprised. She did not think that Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness could penetrate through the hall and reach her. It was just too powerful. At the same time that Shi Yulan received Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness message, Jing Wuming and Lanya also received the same spiritual consciousness message. Did Ning Cheng have the lowest cultivation? How could he have such a powerful spiritual consciousness? Or did he have a special cultivation method? In any case, Ning Cheng's strength was a good thing for them. The few of them immediately followed Ning Cheng's instructions and tried to break through the first level. What Ning Cheng did not expect was that when he used his spiritual consciousness to pass the message to the Shi Yulan trio, Imperial concubine Xianyu, who stood next to the Orchid Burrow Celestial River King, suddenly frowned and her eyes fell on the transfer array entrance in the middle of the Orchid Burrow Public Square. Chapter 522. Ning Cheng had already checked it and found that the first level only involved celestial essence resistance and simple calculations. This kind of calculation was too simple for him. Through the patterns on the ground of the main hall, he could calculate the correct landing position based on the permutations. When landing, there would be a strong celestial essence resistance. However, this celestial essence resistance was not a problem for an ordinary celestial novice cultivator, let alone a threat to him. After reaching the wall of the main hall, there was also a permutation calculation. Once the calculated numbers were engraved on the wall, the first door of the main hall would open, allowing them to enter the second level. This first level was too simple, and Ning Cheng estimated that only a few people could not pass it. Therefore, he did not help. The first level of the rank 9 profound array immediately sent out many cultivators and once again landed on the Orchid Burrow Public Square. Ning Cheng easily stood on top of the second pass. The second pass was a barren canyon. Ning Cheng had just come in when a powerful force pushed against him. If one did not pay attention to this force, one would end up falling backwards. As long as one fell backwards, one would immediately be transported to the Orchid Burrow Public Square. In addition to the force, there was also a stone stele at his feet, which also had some complicated patterns carved on it. With the experience from the first level, Ning Cheng understood that this stone stele was the correct way to deduce the second level. Under this powerful force, it was indeed difficult to use one's spiritual consciousness to infer the correct path. One could only use one's powerful spiritual consciousness to evolve it step by step and calculate the correct path. Under normal circumstances, as long as one had enough time, A celestial novice cultivator would be able to calculate the correct path. However, the longer one stayed in the same place, the longer one calculated the path, the greater the force. This gradually increasing force prevented any cultivator from using the time loopholes to calculate the correct path. Although Ning Cheng calculated the correct path, he did not move and continued to wait for Jing Wuming, Lanya, and Shi Yulan. Ning Cheng waited for a full hour before the three people appeared within the range of his spiritual consciousness, one after another, each appearing in a different canyon. As the force grew stronger and stronger around Ning Cheng, he did not let the three people deduce the correct path by themselves. He simply calculated the correct path for the three people and transmitted it to the three people using his spiritual consciousness. The Jing Wuming trio felt pleasantly surprised and even arrived at the third level before Ning Cheng. The third stage only had 6 steps, and each step had a pushing force. Moreover, the pushing force would be stronger with each step. However, Ning Cheng soon discovered that his spiritual consciousness could block a part of the thrust, which made it a lot easier for him to climb up the stairs. Walking on these steps was not only a test of one's celestial essence but also a test of one's spiritual consciousness. The stronger one's divine sense was, the smaller the force would be. If Ning Cheng had to pass through these 6 steps by himself, he would not have felt that it would be too strenuous for him. However, his spiritual consciousness could clearly sense that Jing Wuming and Shi Yulan could not hold on. Even Lanya was barely holding on. To guarantee a spot in the striking order's starry skies, one had to pass this third level. Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness immediately spread out, helping the three of them resist some of the pressure. At this moment, the pressure on him had increased by several times. If not for his powerful starry sky sea of consciousness, he would not have been able to hold on for so long. Ning Cheng walked up the steps very slowly. Although his spiritual consciousness was powerful, but in the case of helping Jing Wuming and the other two at the same time, each step was extremely strenuous. When the 4 of them passed through the 6th step and entered the 4th level, Ning Cheng felt a sharp pain in his sea of consciousness. By the time he recovered, his spiritual consciousness could no longer penetrate it. At this moment, he could only see the situation in front of him. Ning Cheng knew that Shi Yulan and the other 2 must have been sent out. As such, it should not be a problem for him to pass through the 4th level alone. However, he only had a celestial novice cultivation. If he showed too much, it would definitely attract attention. Thinking of this, Ning Cheng took a step back under the pressure. The next moment, Ning Cheng felt his body lighten as he was teleported out. Ning Cheng. Lanya was the first to arrive in front of Ning Cheng. Seeing Ning Cheng's pale face, she immediately understood what was going on. "Are you okay?" Jing Wuming also came over anxiously. If not for Ning Cheng's help, not to mention entering the 4th level, they would have found it difficult to pass the 2nd level. "What about our ranking?" Ning Cheng asked the first question. Shi Yulan's voice arrived. "We're in the top 100. Ning Cheng felt surprised. Wasn't this a bit too much? 4 people entered the top 50 at the same time? Seeing that Jing Wuming wanted to speak, he quickly spoke up. "Let's talk about it when we get back. Let's take a look at the others' matches." Jing Wuming immediately understood and quickly shut up. He, like Lanya and Shi Yulan, felt shocked by Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness. However, he also knew that this was not a good place to talk. Ning Cheng looked at the rankings on the array formation screen, and his heart slowly calmed down. In just a short time, the rankings of these people had fallen from the top 100 to a few hundred, and the rankings were still falling. Ning Cheng knew that this was because he had only cleared the stages for a short time. Moreover, his computing ability was something that few people could compare to. As more and more people were teleported to the public square, the rankings of Ning Cheng's group of 4 also continued to fall. "Hey, how come your ranking is so high?" Ruan Mingshu, who just got teleported out, came to Ning Cheng's side and spoke up in amazement. She was even more shocked to see that the rankings of Ning Cheng's group of 4 were not far apart from each other. Moreover, none of them were low. Although the rankings of the 4 people were not as high as hers, it was still outrageous. Ruan Mingshu did not continue to ask. She felt sure that this matter was not as simple as it seemed. Moreover, she vaguely felt that this matter should have something to do with Ning Cheng. If this was the case, was it a good thing or a bad thing? This was the fastest selection method Ning Cheng had ever seen. More than 1 million people finished the selection process in just one day, and at the same time, the top 10,000 were selected. Among them, the cultivator ranked first was already close to the 7th stage, while the cultivator ranked 10,000 had just reached the 2nd step of the 3rd stage. The ranking of Ning Cheng's group of 4 stopped at around 3,000, while Wan Mingshu's ranking was around 500. Ning Cheng, on the other hand, felt relieved. Ranking in the top 3,000 and ranking in the top 100 were two completely different concepts. Among more than 1 million people, if one ranked in the top 100, it would be impossible not to notice. The Orchid Burrow Celestial River King felt very happy. A celestial scryer cultivator approaching the 7th stage of the rank 9 profound array was a very remarkable thing. He stood up and spoke. Next, I will be giving out the rewards to the top 10 of our Orchid Burrow Celestial River Division. First place, Helian Penghua. Although the top 1,000 of the Orchid Burrow Celestial River Division received a reward, only the top 10 could receive a personal reward from the Orchid Burrow Celestial River King. Ning Cheng also paid special attention to Helian Penghua. This cultivator looked very young, with a medium build and a slightly yellow complexion. However, this fellow almost entered the 7th stage. This result was definitely a powerful one. No wonder the Orchid Burrow Celestial River King felt so happy. The award ceremony lasted even longer than the tryouts. Although Wan Mingshu was in the top 500, she still received a reward. After the award ceremony, the Orchid Burrow Celestial River King spoke up. 3 days later, the top 10,000 will gather at the Orchid Burrow Public Square. We will then head to the Manluan Starry Skies. This time, I will personally lead the team. Now you can go and buy some of the things you need. Ning Cheng said to the Lanya trio. Even if that celestial lord Miao Pu had the courage, he would not dare to make a move against Lanya. The Orchid Burrow Celestial River's 10,000 participants were personally selected by the Orchid Burrow Celestial River King. If anyone dared to make a move against these 10,000 participants, it would be equivalent to courting death. Sure, Yulan and Lanya knew that even if they asked Ning Cheng, they guessed that Ning Cheng would not say anything about it. As such, they simply did not ask anything and bid farewell to Ning Cheng before heading out to buy the things they needed. Although they had also signed up for the qualifiers, they had never thought that they would really be selected before this. Now that they were selected, they felt very excited in their hearts. Jing Wuming patted Ning Cheng's shoulder and was about to leave when he saw Ning Cheng's expression change. He immediately stopped. He did not ask Ning Cheng what was going on, nor did he continue to leave. A moment later, Ning Cheng sent a sound transmission to him. Orchid Burrow Celestial River King's imperial concubine Xian Yu sent me a sound transmission and asked me to meet her at the revolving Jade Mountain tonight? What's going on? Hearing Ning Cheng's words, Jing Wuming's expression immediately changed. This was not a trivial matter. Regardless of the reason for imperial concubine Xian Yu inviting Ning Cheng, it definitely was not a good thing. Once the Orchid Burrow Celestial River King came to know about it, Ning Cheng would definitely be finished. Do you want to go? Jing Wuming looked at Ning Cheng and carefully asked with a sound transmission. Ning Cheng calmed down and tried to think about why imperial concubine Xian Yu sent him a sound transmission. It did not make any sense at all. He did not know imperial concubine Xian Yu at all. Moreover, she was a celestial river king, while he had just advanced to the celestial novice realm. I have to go. If I don't go, then not to mention going to the Striking Order Starry Skies to participate in the tryouts, I wouldn't even be able to walk out of the revolving Jade City alive. Ning Cheng took in a deep breath and slowly sent a sound transmission to Jing Wuming. Jing Wuming also tried to come up with a solution in his heart. However, after thinking about it for a while, he could not come up with a better idea and spoke up, I'll go with you. Seeing Ning Cheng hesitating, Jing Wuming spoke up in a firm voice. We are two brothers in this life. If we die, then we die. What's there to hesitate about? Let's go. Ning Cheng nodded. Okay, let's go together. The revolving Jade Mountain was one of the 3 mountains in the revolving Jade City. The dust in the revolving jade city was worth an inch of gold, not to mention a tall mountain in a bustling place. However, the revolving jade mountain ignored this rule because it was the place where imperial concubine Xian Yu lived. Ning Cheng and Jing Wuming walked all the way to the revolving jade palace at the top of the revolving jade mountain without anyone stopping them. From this, one could tell that the people here had already received orders from imperial concubine Xian Yu. The higher Ning Cheng went, the richer the starry sky's essence qi became. The starry sky's essence qi in this place was not only rich, but also gentle, without any traces of deliberate effort. It truly was a good place, Ning Cheng and Jing Wuming sighed in their hearts. Ning Cheng, you are just a little celestial novice cultivator, yet you have such courage. A crisp and pleasant female voice reached Ning Cheng's ears. Chapter 523. Senior, please punish me. Ning Cheng did not ask for the reason at all. Facing imperial concubine Xian Yu, as long as the other party wanted to kill him, regardless of whether he was in the right or not, he would still die. At this moment, Ning Cheng's heart was filled with a thirst for power. Without strength, it would only lead to sorrow. One would not even have the chance to resist. If I wanted to punish you, you would already be a dead man. Come in. Imperial concubine Xian Yu's voice arrived, sounding even more pleasant to the ears. Ning Cheng and Jing Wuming cautiously walked into the palace, and a faint fragrance wafted over, giving people a comfortable feeling as if they were in a gentle dream. They could not wait to find a bed to lie down on, close their eyes, and not think about anything else. However, thinking that this place belonged to imperial concubine Xian Yu, Ning Cheng and Jing Wuming no longer had such thoughts. The two of them passed through the palace, walked through a winding gravel road, and finally arrived in front of a very simple pink wooden house. Come in. Imperial concubine Xian Yu's voice turned soft, with a hint of irresistible temptation. Ning Cheng and Jing Wuming walked into the room. Jing Wuming did not dare to casually sweep out with his spiritual consciousness, but Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness immediately swept through the room. The room was not as luxurious as the outside, with only a simple wooden bed and a wardrobe, along with a small screen. The wooden bed was covered with a pink silk quilt, while a few pots of flowers were placed on the windowsill of the wooden house, looking very orderly. The smell inside the wooden house was simple and elegant, which instantly calmed people's restless hearts. Sit down. Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness had just fallen on a screen in the wooden house when imperial concubine Xian Yu came out from behind the screen. This was the first time that Ning Cheng looked at imperial concubine Xian Yu so closely. Her white oval face had a faint blush, and her pair of eyes seemed to be able to see through the hearts of others, making people not dare to look directly at her. A string of light-colored beads hung under her neck, and a faint fragrance seemed to emanate from below the beads. Her voluptuous chest declared that she was a perfect woman. After looking at this woman, the only feeling he got was that she was beautiful and mature. Jing Wuming only glanced at her before lowering his head, not daring to look again. Imperial concubine Xian Yu looked at Jing Wuming before looking at Ning Cheng. She then looked at Ning Cheng and spoke in a calm voice. Do you know that I once wanted to refine the rank 9 profound array and turn it into my own weapon? It's just that after I refined the first part, I realized that this magic treasure was too weak for battle, so I gave up. When Ning Cheng heard these words, his heart sank. He instantly understood what was going on and why imperial concubine Xian Yu called him over. Since imperial concubine Xian Yu had refined a rank 9 profound array, it meant that she knew about his spiritual consciousness permeating the rank 9 profound array. No wonder she called him here. Your spiritual consciousness is quite amazing. Did you cultivate a spiritual consciousness cultivation method? Imperial concubine Xian Yu stared at Ning Cheng and asked again in a slow voice. Ning Cheng wanted to deny it. He did not have a spiritual consciousness cultivation method, so how could he cultivate it? However, just as the words were about to come out of his mouth, he swallowed them back down and instead said, replying to Senior, this junior indeed obtained an incomplete spiritual consciousness cultivation method and then casually cultivated it. Imperial concubine Xian Yu giggled. Casually cultivating it is already this powerful. If you cultivate it seriously, then wouldn't you be invincible? Imperial concubine Xian Yu's words were only half spoken when she suddenly stopped. Her face also turned a little ugly to look at. She suddenly raised her hand, flipped open her bedboard, and spoke to Ning Cheng and Jing Wuming, "Hurry up and go in." Ning Cheng and Jing Wuming instantly knew that someone had arrived. Who else could make Imperial concubine Xian Yu tremble in fear, besides the Orchid Burrow Celestial River King? Jing Wuming did not think much about it and immediately jumped under the bedboard. He knew that even if he resisted, it would be useless. Ning Cheng, however, did not jump in. Instead, he opened a wardrobe and hid inside it. "Senior, I will hide in here." Imperial concubine Xian Yu felt anxious. Ning Cheng was simply courting death. Hiding in a wardrobe, even the Orchid Burrow Celestial River King could see through his aura, not to mention using his spiritual consciousness to sweep out. When her bedboard was flipped open, it turned out to be a powerful place to isolate spiritual consciousness. As long as the person hiding inside restrained their breathing, it would be fine. Unfortunately, she did not have the time to pull Ning Cheng out and throw him under the bed. At this moment, the Orchid Burrow Celestial River King's voice came from the door. "Beloved, I heard that you were a little tired and worried about you. Therefore I came to see you." "Elder brother Lon, I'm fine." Imperial concubine Xian Yu spoke as she stepped forward and took the arm of the Orchid Burrow Celestial River King, who had just come in. Ning Cheng did not feel worried. He believed that with his ability to isolate all auras, as long as he hid here without moving, the Orchid Burrow Celestial River King would not find him. Besides, he believed that since the Orchid Burrow Celestial River King doted on Imperial concubine Xian Yu, he would never use his spiritual consciousness to sweep through Imperial concubine Xian Yu's room. He could feel that the Orchid Burrow Celestial River King's love for Imperial concubine Xian Yu had already seeped into his bones. This kind of love could not be faked. If the Orchid Burrow Celestial River King swept around with his spiritual consciousness the moment he entered the room, it would mean that the Orchid Burrow Celestial River King still had a gap with Imperial concubine Xian Yu and would never dote on her so deeply. Ning Cheng was not as honest as Jing Wuming. The reason why he did not want to hide under Imperial concubine Xian Yu's bed was because he feared that the Orchid Burrow Celestial River King and Imperial concubine Xian Yu would make love to each other on the bed. If this pair of man and woman did it on the bed, he would feel unlucky if he hid under the bed. It's just that Jing Wuming was too honest. Before he could speak, this fellow had already turned over. Ning Cheng instantly thought of a lot of things. The only thing he did not think of was that there was someone inside the cabinet. Moreover, when he came in and swept out with his spiritual consciousness, he did not find anyone. It was not until he entered the cabinet and pressed his hand against a soft mass that he realized that a woman was hiding inside. Moreover, his hand was pressing against this woman's chest. "It's over." Ning Cheng had just thought of 2 words when the woman's voice arrived in his ears. "Converge your aura, don't move." Knowing that this woman did not want to flip out, Ning Cheng felt slightly relieved and immediately converged all of his aura. He was just thinking about who this woman was, and whether Imperial concubine Xian Yu knew about her hiding in here, when he felt a faint barrier blocking his body. Ning Cheng understood that this woman did not have confidence in his concealment ability and helped him hide another layer of concealment. Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness swept over this woman, but found that it was only a blur. Ning Cheng secretly felt shocked in his heart. What kind of concealment ability was this? Even when he was in front of her, he could not even use his spiritual consciousness to clearly see this woman's appearance. "Beloved." The Orchid Burrow King's tone was so gentle that it could melt steel. Imperial concubine Xian Yu's sleep-talking voice arrived, and Ning Cheng immediately heard the sound of the 2 hugging and kissing. The sound of clothes slowly unraveling, along with the moaning, grew louder and louder. Although there was no sound coming from Imperial concubine Xian Yu's bed, Ning Cheng could clearly hear the sounds of the Orchid Burrow Celestial River King and Imperial concubine Xian Yu rolling on the bed. Ning Cheng secretly felt lucky in his heart. Fortunately, he did not hide under the bed, otherwise he would have died of bad luck. Wuming this fellow was just too honest. Whatever a woman wanted him to do, he would do. If he had known earlier, he would not have brought this fellow along. The ambiguous atmosphere in the room grew thicker and thicker. Ning Cheng suddenly felt the two soft spots on his back turn hard. He knew what was going on. He knew that this woman did not dare to use the mind-cleansing method in this place, lest the surrounding essence qi fluctuate, which affected her. Don't. Imperial concubine Xian Yu's voice finally arrived, causing Ning Cheng to feel relieved. This woman still knew the gravity of the situation. The Orchid Burrow's Celestial River King looked at Imperial concubine Xian Yu in doubt and whispered, "Beloved, what's wrong with you?" "I just came back from the public square, covered in dust. I haven't cleaned myself yet. After I take a bath, I will accompany elder brother Lan." Imperial concubine Xian Yu's charming voice arrived. "No, I'm in a good mood. Why would I need a bath? A dirt removal method can solve all the problems. Beloved, let me pamper you." The Orchid Burrow's Celestial River King spoke with a soft smile. Imperial concubine Xian Yu moaned again, and the two hugged each other and rolled on the bed again. Ning Cheng cursed in his heart. "Can't you find such a simple excuse? If you want to be intimate, can't you wait until this master leaves? Poor Wu Ming is still suffering under the bed." "Wait." Imperial concubine Xian Yu's voice came over again. "What's wrong?" Imperial concubine Xian Yu suddenly sat up and tidied up her messy dress. "Elder brother Lan, although I also want to. But today is a great day for my Orchid Burrow Celestial River. Since so many geniuses have been selected, I feel really happy. We can't just do it casually. I think it's better to take a real bath, and at night we can." The Orchid Burrow Celestial River King laughed. "Yes, my beloved is really thoughtful. Come, my beloved, come with me to the royal palace, and at the same time take a bath in the royal palace." Imperial concubine Xian Yu gave a soft "n" sound before pulling the Orchid Burrow Celestial River King's hand and walking out. After a few breaths, the woman behind Ning Cheng gave a snort. "You can go out now. Imperial concubine Xian Yu will be back soon. I'll also be leaving." Ning Cheng quickly came out of the wardrobe. He did not care about who that woman was or why she was hiding here. These things had nothing to do with him. Ning Cheng immediately arrived at Imperial concubine Xian Yu's bed and touched it for a long time. He wanted to open the bed and release Jing Wuming. Unfortunately, even after searching for a long time, he still could not open it. "You don't have to waste your efforts. This bed is a weapon of that Imperial concubine Xian Yu. She refined it. Besides her, with your cultivation, you can forget about opening her bed. I advise you to leave as soon as possible. If Imperial concubine Xian Yu wanted to kill you and your friends, she would have already killed them. Why would she wait until now? Therefore, after you leave, your friends would still be safe." The woman inside the wardrobe sent out another sound transmission. Ning Cheng knew that the other party was not wrong. If he wanted to open the bed, he would have to refine it first. Moreover, he did not know how long it would take. Forcibly destroying the other party's bed, not to mention injuring Wu Ming, Ning Cheng did not dare to do such a thing. At this moment, Jing Wu Ming's voice arrived. "Xiao Cheng, you should go back first. I should be fine. Moreover, it would be safer for me if you go back." Chapter 524. After Ning Cheng returned to the bright just resting pen, Lanya and Shi Yulan had yet to return. Ning Cheng felt worried about Jing Wuming and could only wait. After knowing the purpose of Imperial concubine Xian Yu looking for him, Ning Cheng understood that he had to come up with the cultivation method for cultivating his spiritual consciousness. Otherwise, it would be difficult for him and Jing Wuming to escape. Therefore, after Ning Cheng returned, he decided to wait for Jing Wuming while deducing the cultivation method for cultivating his spiritual consciousness. He was ready to deduce a rough spiritual consciousness cultivation method and hand it over to Imperial concubine Xian Yu. As long as he arrived at striking order starry skies, things would become much easier. To Ning Cheng's surprise, Jing Wuming returned to the bright just resting pen in less than a day. Not only did he come back, but he also looked to be in good condition. Jing Wuming did not return to his residence and went directly to Ning Cheng's room. "That Xian Yu didn't come with you and let you go so easily?" Ning Cheng looked at Jing Wuming in doubt. Jing Wuming's expression turned a bit awkward and only shook his head after a while. He looked a bit hesitant, not knowing what to say to Ning Cheng. "John Doe, what's the matter? Just say it. Ning Cheng was not in the mood to play riddles with Jing Wuming. Brother Xiaocheng, I think I fell in love with Xian Yu. What? Even with Ning Cheng's calmness, he still felt shocked by Jing Wuming's words. This fellow truly wanted to shock people to death with his words. Jing Wuming calmed down and spoke with certainty. I fell in love with Xian Yu, just like how I fell in love with Yulan. I thought that I could only be alone for the rest of my life, and that I would never like another woman, but I couldn't refuse Xian Yu. She let me know I. Ning Cheng interrupted Jing Wuming's words and spoke up in a deep voice. Wuming, you need to make things clear. You and Shi Yulan do not have any chance. You have to know who that Xian Yu is, the woman of a celestial river king. Besides, I don't want my brother to be the third party. Jing Wuming took in a deep breath and looked at Ning Cheng with a serious expression before speaking. I like Yulan, but I know that it is absolutely impossible between us. Even if she was willing, my ancestors wouldn't allow me to be with her, not to mention that she wouldn't be with me, the son of her father's murderer. If we can't be together, then we can't be together. Let's put this matter aside. Tell me about Xian Yu. Ning Cheng frowned. Imperial concubine Xian Yu was a woman of the celestial river king. What did Jing Wuming and a married woman mean? She asked me how I knew you, and where you came from. I didn't know what was going on, but I told her everything. I didn't even conceal the matter between me and Shi Yulan. After listening to me, she was silent for a long time. Then, she told me many things about her. Xian Yu was a pitiful woman. She did not have the kind of glory that she seemed to have on the surface. Moreover, I can never forget her. Although Jing Wuming's tone was slow, it was very firm. You slept with her? How could Ning Cheng not understand what was going on? He had only returned for half a day, yet Jing Wuming and imperial concubine Xian Yu ended up on the same bed. Jing Wuming nodded. Her elder sister is called Lu Yu. Back then, Orchid Burrow Celestial River King liked her elder sister, Lu Yu. At that time, Lu Yu already had someone she loved. To avoid marrying the Orchid Burrow Celestial River King, Lu Yu and her lover escaped from the Orchid Burrow Celestial River. The Orchid Burrow Celestial River King vented his anger on Lu Yu's family. Fortunately, he saw Xian Yu and changed his target. Xian Yu married the Orchid Burrow Celestial River King to protect her family, without even half a shred of love. Ning Cheng spoke up speechlessly. You have to think about it. This is not a trivial matter. Once the Orchid Burrow Celestial River King learns about it, we would all die. I won't take any risks. Xian Yu told me that I still have to go to the Time Wilderness. When I come out of the Time Wilderness, she and I will secretly leave the Striking Order's starry skies. If I can't come out of the Time Wilderness, she will have to leave the Striking Order's starry skies alone. A few months ago, after her younger brother died, she no longer has a family. Jing Wuming spoke in a calm tone, but it was also very firm. Ning Cheng stood up and patted Jing Wuming's shoulder. You have to think about it carefully. Remember to tell Lanya and Shi Yulan about this. Otherwise, if you take away the Orchid Burrow Celestial River King's concubine, the Orchid Burrow Celestial River King would definitely fly into a rage. At that time, everyone who came in contact with you would be in danger. After sending Jing Wuming away, Ning Cheng pondered for a long time. This matter, from the beginning to the end, felt a little strange. Imperial concubine Xian Yu was such an excellent woman, with a cultivation far higher than Jing Wuming's. Even if she looked down on the Orchid Burrow Celestial River King, why would she get involved with Jing Wuming, right? Although Jing Wuming was a good person, she should not have taken a liking to him. What was the purpose of this woman and Jing Wuming together? Was it really love at first sight? If one had to say that it was fake, then how could it be fake when she and Jing Wuming slept together? For a woman with cultivation at the level of Xian Yu, as long as she was not a slut, she would take this kind of thing very seriously. Perhaps Xian Yu really felt touched by Jing Wuming's infatuation with Shi Yulan and felt that this man was worthy of her love. Or maybe she wanted to leave the Orchid Burrow Celestial River and just happened to meet Jing Wuming. Ning Cheng gave out a sigh. Whether it was true or not, the sooner he left the Orchid Burrow Celestial River, the better. 3 days later, a silver void airship left the Orchid Burrow public square. Like a distorted shadow, It rushed out of the Orchid Burrow star. This was the airship from the Orchid Burrow celestial river to the Man-Luan's starry skies. It contained 10,000 participating cultivators, as well as countless cultivators who wanted to board the airship. The 10,000 selected cultivators did not need to pay for the airship. However, the cultivators who wanted to board the airship to the Man-Luan's starry skies would have to pay a high airship fee. This was the first time that Ning Cheng had boarded a top-grade celestial river airship. However, this top-grade celestial river airship, in addition to carrying people, also had the function of a top-grade celestial river battleship. One could say that this airship was a celestial river battleship. This airship looked just like a small city, with 5 floors above and below. At the bottom floor were some of the poorer cultivators. They had already taken out all their celestial coins to board the airship and had no extra money. As such, they could only live together on the bottom floor. On the top floor were some of the cultivators with high cultivation and status. Not only did they have their own residences, but they also had luxurious residences. The 4th and 3rd floors were the residences of some of the middle-level cultivators. There were also a variety of merchant houses, hotels, and other establishments. As long as one had the money, one could live a luxurious life on this void airship. The 2nd floor was also where the ordinary cultivators lived. It also contained some low-level merchant houses, but compared to the 3rd and 4th floors, the level of these merchant houses was much lower. Ning Cheng and the other participating cultivators lived on the 2nd floor. Although the place was not very spacious, the top 5,000 to 1,000 cultivators each had a single room. As for the top 1,000 cultivators, they did not live on the 2nd floor, but on the 3rd floor. Since entering the void airship, Ning Cheng had not seen imperial concubine Xian Yu. However, from Jing Wuming's demeanor, he could tell that he and Xian Yu had made good progress. Ning Cheng did not ask Jing Wuming about this matter. He was not a person who liked to gossip. He only asked about it because he was worried. Shi Yulan and Lan Ya apparently got some information from Jing Wuming. After the two of them entered the airship, they did not come out of their rooms. Ruan Mingshu lived on the 3rd floor and did not come down to look for Ning Cheng. After Ning Cheng walked around the merchant house on the airship, he returned to his room. From the revolving Jade City to the Striking Order Starry Skies main continent, Striking Order Starland, it would take a few months. During these few months, he could integrate his cultivation. Ning Cheng had gained a lot from the battle with Suo Qiaoya. However, he did not have the time to go into seclusion to sort out his gains. Now that he had half a year's time, he could use it to his advantage. The mysterious yellow formless might be the best cultivation method within the starry skies, but even if Ning Cheng knew about his shortcomings, it would not be a simple matter to integrate what he had learned. 3 months later, Ning Cheng's cultivation had steadily advanced to the middle stage celestial novice realm. However, he still could not find a way to attack his spiritual consciousness. Apart from the slight improvement in his cultivation, the only improvement he had made was the name of his most powerful spear, Intent, Traceless. This move was something he had comprehended from the projection of the everlasting Blue Thunder City. At that time, a powerful cultivator had used a purple long spear to kill a powerhouse capable of blasting apart a planet. After he saw it, he felt extremely shocked and gained a new understanding. He had also used this spear to kill many powerhouses. When this spear was brought out, without any warning, without leaving even half a trace, it could directly cut through space and kill the opponent. It was appropriate to call this move Traceless. By now, he had at least 2 powerful spear intents, the Nothingness Flame Pattern Spear and Traceless. On this day, Ning Cheng was still deducing the spiritual consciousness attack when he felt the entire room shaking. Was there an attack from a Starry Skies demonic beast? Ning Cheng immediately thought of Starry Skies demonic beasts. He had been in seclusion here for 3 or 4 months, and everything had remained stable. This top-grade void airship, if not a Starry Skies demonic beast, could not shake it under normal circumstances. Ning Cheng did not go out to take a look. In the face of this top-grade celestial river airship, coupled with an expert like a celestial river king, ordinary Starry Skies demonic beasts would not stand a chance. Besides, even if he went out, he would not be able to play much of a role. However, after an hour, the shaking not only did not weaken, but instead grew even stronger. Even the restrictions covering the room started to crack. Ning Cheng stood up. It looks like the starry sky's demonic beasts were not simple. At this time, the restrictions covering the door also started to shake. Ning Cheng opened the restriction and saw Lanya and Shi Yulan standing anxiously at the door. He immediately asked, "What's going on?" "You really aren't in a hurry. Our airship suffered an endless siege from the starry sky's spirit-devouring rat tide. More than half of the restrictions covering the hull broke, and even a heaven-seated expert died under the starry sky's spirit-devouring rat tide. Everyone is fleeing in all directions. Let's hurry up and escape." Lanya spoke up anxiously. What? Ning Cheng felt shocked in his heart, and at the same time, swept out with his spiritual consciousness. After entering the starry skies, Ning Cheng had learned about the starry sky's demonic beasts, and was not unfamiliar with the starry sky's spirit-devouring rat. This was a terrifying starry sky's demonic beast. When there were many of these demonic beasts, they could even cover the entire range of one's spiritual consciousness. Once the starry sky's spirit-devouring rats found their target, they would never feel fear and would swarm towards it. No matter what it was, as long as it contained spiritual qi, they would crazily rush up and bite it until they finished eating it. Moreover, the starry sky's spirit-devouring rats were highly toxic. Once bitten, one would definitely be poisoned. Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness swept out, and when he saw the broken restrictions covering the airship and the endless starry sky's spirit-devouring rats rushing towards them, his scalp turned numb. Chapter 525. Some of the cultivators who wanted to escape alone ended up trapped by the starry sky's spirit-devouring rats and disappeared without a trace in a short time. Some of the cultivators, after being bitten by the starry sky's spirit-devouring rats, started to twitch. But before they could get too deeply poisoned, the rest of the starry sky's spirit-devouring rats devoured them. Countless cultivators rushed to the deck in a frenzy, wanting to escape. However, as soon as these cultivators rushed up, they were trapped by the endless starry sky's spirit-devouring rats. These starry sky's spirit-devouring rats seemed endless. No matter how many you killed, the next moment, more starry sky's spirit-devouring rats would fill in. Once trapped in such a terrifying situation, even a heaven-seated cultivator would find it hard to escape. Wuming. Ning Cheng remembered that Jing Wuming did not come with Lanya and quickly asked, "I'm fine." Jing Wuming's voice came over, his body still covered with some blood. These bloodstains definitely belonged to the starry sky's spirit-devouring rats. Jing Wuming only had a celestial shatter cultivation, so how could he come out alive after killing the starry sky's spirit-devouring rats? However, Ning Cheng quickly understood that Imperial concubine Xian Yu's figure had already appeared behind Jing Wuming. This woman truly protected Jing Wuming. This thought flashed through Ning Cheng's mind. "Sister Yu, I can't go alone." Jing Wuming turned around and called out anxiously. Imperial concubine Xian Yu's voice turned slightly hoarse. "Wuming, I can help you take away these two women. As for Ning Cheng, no matter what kind of friend you have with him, I can't take him away. From now on, I will only get close to you as a man." Taking away others would expose her privacy as a woman. Lanya and Shi Yulan were women, but Ning Cheng was a man. Therefore, she could not expose herself in front of him. "No, Xiaocheng is my best friend. If he does not leave, then I would rather die here." Jing Wuming's voice was resolute and decisive. Obviously, he had already made a choice between Xian Yu and Ning Cheng. He chose to fight to the death with Ning Cheng rather than escape with Xian Yu. Imperial concubine Xian Yu turned silent. She remained silent for a short time before speaking up with a trembling voice. "If you must take him away, then let them come together. That person hasn't discovered me yet. You have to leave quickly. I have a way." "Yu, thank you." Jing Wuming walked over to the faintly discernible figure and held a pair of jade-like hands. Xian Yu gently rubbed Jing Wuming's hair and spoke, "There is no need for thanks between us. My whole person is yours. Whatever you want me to do, I will do it." Xiao Cheng, Senior Sister Lan, Senior Sister Shi. Jing Wuming had just called out the names of the three people when Ning Qing interrupted Jing Wuming's words and spoke. Wuming, since you have decided to be with Xian Yu, then you should respect her wishes. Your woman needs you to protect her. I have a way to escape, so you don't have to worry about me. If possible, let senior sister Lan and junior sister Yu Lan go with you. Lanya shook her head and spoke. Ning Cheng and I will break out of this encirclement together. If we can escape, then I will leave. If we can't, then dying in the starry skies is my final destination. Shi Yulan also followed up. Senior apprentice Sister Lan and I have already agreed to become starry skies wanderers. This is our beginning. Thank you, Nameless. You can go now. I hope that one day you can have what you want. Jing Wuming felt anxious in his heart. How can this be? This terrifying starry skies spirit-devouring rat tide can even devour experts in the heaven-seated realm. How can you get out? Nameless, I broke into the starry skies with my crucible transformation cultivation and experienced many things. I even ended up being chased by the void explosive golden wasps. I'm still alive and well. You don't have to worry about me. Take care of yourself. In the future, when we reach the universe's starry skies, we will meet again. At that time, I will take you to meet elder brother Tsang Wei. Ning Cheng spoke with a smile. He thought that his void explosive golden wasps were about to hatch. In the future, he could take a large group of void explosive golden wasps and walk through the void or the starry skies. At that time, would any beast group dare to besiege him? Seeing Jing Wuming still hesitating, Ning Cheng added another sentence. Don't be a sissy, let's go. After that, he looked at Xian Yu and spoke calmly. Xian Yu, I don't care who you used to be, but Wuming is my brother. I wish you all the best. If one day I find out that you have let him down, no matter how big the starry skies are, no matter how vast the universe is, I can always find you. Xian Yu slowly spoke up to Ning Cheng. You are indeed Wuming's friend. He did not misjudge you. Wuming, let's go. Lanya and Shi Yulan will not come with us. She was a sophisticated person and knew about the matters between Shi Yulan and Jing Wuming. She was sure that Shi Yulan would not come with her. Lanya would never leave Ning Cheng and Shi Yulan behind and go with her alone. Jing Wuming obviously understood the truth and spoke up to Ning Cheng. Okay, I believe you can do it. Let's meet again in the future. His voice had not yet dissipated when the faintly discernible imperial concubine Xian Yu took him away and disappeared. Ning Cheng, what should we do? After Jing Wuming and Xian Yu left, Lanya looked at Ning Cheng and asked. At this time, the entire airship turned even more chaotic. A large number of starry skies spirit-devouring rats had already flooded into the void airship, causing the void airship to fall completely. All the cultivators there fell into a state of chaos. Every one of them wanted to charge out, but only a small number of them could actually charge out. The berserk starry skies spirit-devouring rats gave out terrifying teeth-baring sounds. These sounds were mixed with the sound of bones being chewed, which made people want to escape from this place even more. However, in all directions, there were layers upon layers of starry skies spirit-devouring rats, stretching out for countless miles. Even spiritual consciousness could not sweep out. At this moment, a deep voice arrived. Everyone listen up. The starry skies spirit-devouring rats in this place are not something we can resist. In a while, we will use our spirit techniques to clear a path through the starry skies spirit-devouring rat horde. Everyone can then escape according to their own destiny. If you can escape, then gather at Striking Order Starland. After countless cultivators heard this voice, they immediately rushed over. For a time, even the starry skies spirit-devouring rats were forced to retreat. Ning Cheng still did not move. A 2 or 3 feet long starry skies spirit-devouring rat arrived at the place where Ning Cheng was staying. Lanya reacted quickly, and with a flash of her blade, she split the starry skies spirit-devouring rat in half. Shi Yulan also spoke up anxiously. Senior apprentice brother Ning, let's hurry up and go up. Otherwise, staying here would only mean death. Ning Cheng calmly shook his head. You're wrong. Going up would only mean courting death. There are many messy restrictions in this place. Even if some scattered starry skies spirit-devouring rats came in, they would not pose a threat to us. Once we go up with the cultivation of the three of us, we would definitely die. Those who have the means to escape would have already used various means to escape. As for those who remain here, they are just like us, without any means to escape. That person said that he would help us clear a path, but I don't believe it. Speaking till here, Ning Cheng looked at Lanya and Shi Yulan. I don't know about the Orchid Burrow Celestial River King situation, but I guess that he should have already left. Even my good partner Ruan Mingshu should have already left by herself. Those who remain here have no means to escape. Shi Yulan spoke up with some uncertainty. Senior apprentice Sister Mingshu and you? Even if Shi Yulan did not finish her words, Ning Cheng already knew what she meant. Shi Yulan wanted to say that Ruan Mingshu was very good to him and would not leave alone. But now, Ning Cheng felt sure that Ruan Mingshu had already left. This further illustrated a problem, that is, Ruan Mingshu's previous kindness to him was based on the fact that he could help her after entering the desolate domain. At this critical moment, how could Ruan Mingshu even think of Ning Cheng? Even if we die, we have to rush out. Staying here is safe for the time being. Once the starry sky's spirit-devouring rats rush in, we would die even more miserably. Lanya spoke with a calm voice, but her voice still trembled. There is another way. Ning Cheng hesitated for a moment before speaking. What way? Lanya and Shi Yulan asked at the same time. I have a miniature world. You too can enter my miniature world, and I will try to rush out alone. However, once I fall, you will also not be able to survive. Ning Cheng spoke the truth. His miniature world's laws were very low, and it did not contain any life. However, once it contained any life, once he fell, the miniature world would definitely collapse. Lanya immediately spoke up, Ning Cheng, let's join forces. Maybe we might have a little chance. Ning Cheng shook his head. There's no chance if we join forces. This is not a void collapse. This starry sky's spirit-devouring rat tide is much more dangerous than a void collapse. Lanya suddenly recalled the time when she had chased Ning Cheng into the bright void gorge. At that time, Ning Cheng was safe and sound, while she had almost lost her life. What was Ning Cheng's cultivation at that time? Thinking of this, she said without hesitation, Okay, I'm willing. Me too. Shi Yulan understood that in the face of such a horrifying starry sky's spirit-devouring rat tide, not to mention a celestial gatherer cultivator like her, even a Heaven's Mandate cultivator would find it difficult to escape. After Lanya and Shi Yulan entered the miniature world, Ning Cheng immediately stimulated the twin wings of the heavenly clouds. In just a few flaps, he emerged from the bottom of the void airship and landed on the deck. The deck was littered with the corpses of the starry sky's spirit-devouring rats. At the same time, the starry sky's spirit-devouring rats were constantly devouring cultivators. Ning Cheng was just a celestial novice cultivator. As such, he did not have the ability to change the situation. At this moment, he could only rush out of the flying ship like the other cultivators and enter the starry sky. In this place, any flight-type magical weapon, void battleships, or airships were useless. No matter how powerful a void airship was, under so many starry skies spirit-devouring rats, it would be eaten clean in an instant. The void airship under his feet was a perfect example. From this, one could imagine how many starry skies spirit-devouring rats the airship's radium light arrows, flowing sky cannons and space-locking lights had killed before these starry skies spirit-devouring rats swarmed onto the airship. Even so, the starry skies spirit-devouring rats still managed to tear through the airship's restrictions and rush into the airship. As soon as Ning Cheng rushed into the starry skies, a terrifying fishy smell assaulted his nostrils, while the surrounding space also turned completely stagnant at this moment. With so many starry skies spirit-devouring rats, even without using any spiritual techniques or magical skills, the starry skies spirit-devouring rats had already occupied the surrounding starry skies. At this moment, any magical skills or spear intent would be meaningless. For Ning Cheng, his spear intent had not reached the point where he could kill tens of thousands of starry skies spirit-devouring rats with just a single shot. At this moment, The only thing he could do was to constantly use the twin wings of the heavenly clouds to teleport and escape from this horrifying starry skies spirit-devouring rat tide. At the same time, he also had to look forward to not being targeted by the high-leveled starry skies spirit-devouring rats. Chapter 526. As soon as the twin wings of the heavenly clouds came to a stop, the endless starry skies spirit-devouring rats swarmed over, instantly filling up the space around Ning Cheng without leaving a single gap. Ning Cheng could be considered as someone who had seen a lot of big scenes. But with so many starry skies spirit-devouring rats crowding over, coupled with the ear-piercing grinding sounds, it still made his scalp tingle. Most of these starry skies spirit-devouring rats did not have high levels, with the lowest among them only equivalent to cultivators in the soul essence realm. However, some of the higher-ranked spirit-devouring rats had already surpassed the starry skies cultivators in the celestial scryer realm. In such a dense space, not to mention about teleporting, even using the twin wings of the heavenly clouds would be difficult for Ning Cheng. His teleportation was made use of the instantaneous speed of the twin wings of the heavenly clouds, not the true teleportation of the spatial transformation. If it was a true instant teleportation, he could ignore these starry skies spirit-devouring rats. But there was nothing he could do about it. Previously, there were gaps between the space spirit-devouring rats, but now, as soon as he landed in the starry sky, so many spirit-devouring rats swarmed over, trapping him in the blink of an eye. There was no gap, so how could he use his speed to rush out? Ning Cheng no longer hid his celestial river flame, and the celestial river flame turned into a flaming spear and shot out. The blinding purple color exploded around Ning Cheng, and the terrifying temperature instantly turned countless starry skies spirit-devouring rats into ashes. A gap then appeared in front of Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng stimulated the twin wings of the heavenly clouds, and once again landed in the middle of the starry skies spirit-devouring rats encirclement. Ning Cheng decided not to take back his celestial river flame. The celestial river flame condensed into a long spear and shot towards the starry skies spirit-devouring rats. All kinds of ear-piercing screams and the aura of burning flames filled the surroundings. The starry skies spirit-devouring rat's fur was glossy and seemed to be extremely fire-attracting. Under the celestial river flames, it could not resist at all. The celestial river flame condensed into a long spear and quickly extended out like a sharp plow. A gap appeared in front of Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng no longer brought out the twin wings of the heavenly clouds. Instead, he crazily stimulated the celestial river flame and flew out along the path of the flame. Ning Cheng had no idea how many starry skies spirit-devouring rats he killed along the way. However, these starry skies spirit-devouring rats couldn't even count as a strand of hair when compared to the entire rat tide. The celestial river flame was indeed fierce, but if Ning Cheng used the celestial river flame like this, it would consume a lot of energy. In just half a day's time, Ning Cheng felt extremely tired. At this moment, he felt an incomparably powerful aura locking onto him. This was a high-level starry skies spirit-devouring rat, at least equivalent to someone in the celestial bridge realm. At this time, the starry skies spirit-devouring rats in front of Ning Cheng had already loosened up and were no longer as dense as before. Ning Cheng did not care about his exhaustion. Under the stimulation of the twin wings of the heavenly clouds, he immediately left behind a faint afterimage, before he instantly disappeared. After activating the twin wings of the heavenly clouds, Ning Cheng found that he was still surrounded by a swarm of starry skies spirit-devouring rats, but it was a bit more sparse. At this time, there was only one thought in Ning Cheng's mind: escape. After the twin wings of the heavenly clouds upgraded to 4 pairs of glowing lights, the speed at which he could teleport was several times faster than before. Ning Cheng once again crazily wielded the twin wings of the heavenly clouds. After another half a day passed by, Ning Cheng could no longer wield it. At this moment, there was not a single starry skies spirit-devouring rat around him. At this moment, the powerful aura surrounding him had completely disappeared. Ning Cheng stopped and took a few deep breaths. He couldn't help but think that this starry skies beast tide was just too terrifying. Previously, Lanya and Shi Yulan had said that they wanted to become Starry Skies Wanderers, which meant that they were putting their lives on the line to gain experience. However, everyone's path was their own choice, and he did not want to interfere with others. Ningcheng then took out the knockoff Celestial River-class battleship and called out Lanya and Shi Yulan. Did they really escape? Lanya looked at the vast starry skies around them. Where was the last of the starry skies' spirit-devouring rats? Ningcheng gave a weary reply. Yes, they escaped. I'm going in to rest. This battleship has the coordinates of the striking order Starry Skies. Senior Apprentice Sister Lan, you and Junior Apprentice Sister Yulan can help control it. Ningcheng, you can go in and rest. Leave it to me. Lanya spoke with gratitude. This life-saving grace could not be expressed with just words. Ningcheng entered the battleship's cabin to rest, while Lanya and Shi Yulan's hearts surged like a tide. The two controlled the Celestial River-class battleship for a few days, but could not calm down completely. Senior Apprentice Sister Lan, what are you thinking about? Shi Yulan, on seeing Lanya's hesitant expression, finally could not help but ask. Lanya did not answer Shi Yulan's words. Instead, she looked at Shi Yulan and asked, Junior Apprentice Sister Yulan, what are you thinking about? Shi Yulan lowered her head and shook her head after a long time. I don't know. Junior Apprentice Sister Yulan, I don't want to go to the Time Wilderness. My cultivation is still too low. If I go in, I might end up dragging Ningcheng down. I have already steeled my heart to become a Starry Skies Wanderer. Once we get close to the Ranchang Star, I will say goodbye to Ningcheng. Lanya looked at the distant starry skies outside the Celestial River-class battleship. Although her tone was gentle, it was also unusually calm. The Ranchang Star was a planet within the Manluan starry skies, close to the Manluan starland. Contrary to Lanya's expectations, Shi Yulan did not feel surprised. She also stared at the vast starry skies for a long time before speaking up. Senior Apprentice Sister Lan, even if you did not say it, I was going to say it. Our cultivation and strength are too far apart compared to those powerful Celestial Scryer cultivators. Senior Apprentice Brother Ning saved me several times. I can't rely on him for a lifetime. Lanya showed a slight smile. Junior Apprentice Sister Yuan, I should be the one saying those words. I was just about to tell you that after I leave, you should continue to stay by Ningcheng's side. Shi Yulan showed a faint smile before shaking her head. Senior Apprentice Sister Lan, I already have a man I like, and I can never forget his appearance. Every time I close my eyes, it feels as if I am leaning on him, and no one can replace him. Senior Apprentice Brother Ning is a good person. However, he is not mine, and I can't be with him. Is it that Starry Skies Wanderer? Lanya stared into Shi Yulan's eyes and asked. Shi Yulan's face showed a slight blush before she gave a gentle nod. Yes, I like him. If I can be with him, wander the starry skies, depend on each other, then I can give birth to a child for him, we can roam the starry skies together. As Shi Yulan spoke until here, her tone turned even softer, turning incomparably gentle. Her originally beautiful face, because of this gentle yearning, turned even more beautiful. Even Lanya felt a little stunned by this scene. Lanya held Shi Yulan's hand and looked at Shi Yulan before speaking. Junior Apprentice Sister Yulan, I know that you already know that the Starry Skies Wanderer is Ningcheng. Ever since the Orchid Burrow Celestial River's 9-step Obscure Array tournament, we all knew about it. However, we did not say it out loud. Now that I'm leaving, you should stay with Ningcheng. He is not a heartless cultivator. Without waiting for Lanya to finish, Shi Yulan waved her hand and interrupted Lanya's words. Senior Apprentice Sister Lan, I know. I do know that Senior Apprentice Brother Ning is that Starry Skies Wanderer, but he cannot replace the Starry Skies Wanderer in my heart. He is Senior Apprentice Brother Ning, which is different. Maybe you don't understand, but I understand it in my heart. I understand it very well. Lanya looked at Shi Yulan in a daze. She finally understood what was going on. Shi Yulan liked the Starry Skies Wanderer in her heart, not the Ningcheng standing in front of her. It was the longing in her heart, not the person she could find. I understand. Lanya put her arm around Shi Yulan's shoulder and spoke with difficulty. Shi Yulan burst into tears, but after a while, she still shook her head and spoke. Elder sister Lanya, you don't understand. Lanya felt shocked in her heart. At this moment, she truly understood Shi Yulan's thoughts. She gave out a sigh and pulled Shi Yulan, who was still crying, into her arms and whispered, Junior apprentice Sister Yun, come with me to the starry skies. We can find what we are looking for there. Shi Yulan's crying slowly stopped. She walked to the deck of the celestial river battleship and looked at the vast starry skies. Suddenly she softly sang, the vast starry skies, vines in the east, yellow birds, no mulberry trees in the middle, twinkling stars, I do not follow. The song spread out and permeated through the vast starry skies before leaving behind only a faint ending. Ning Cheng had already fully recovered. His starry skies sea of consciousness was extremely powerful, allowing him to use the twin wings of the heavenly clouds to teleport at such a high intensity. Just as he was about to come out, he heard Shi Yulan's voice. He immediately stopped. Shi Yulan's voice had seeped into his bones. Even Ning Cheng had to admit that he had never heard such a beautiful voice before. However, the meaning of the lyrics was slightly melancholic. Roughly speaking, in the vast starry skies, I'm like a vine without roots, spreading through the starry skies without any direction. Also like a tired oriole crying in the starry skies, unable to find a mulberry tree to perch on. A star starts to shine in the starry skies, but I know that it is not the place I want to go. Chapter 527. When Ning Cheng came out, Shi Yulan's song suddenly stopped and she spoke up with a surprised expression. Senior apprentice brother Ning, have you fully recovered? Ning Cheng showed a smile. Yes, it's just that my spiritual consciousness is a little tired. Let me control the battleship now. We should not be too far from striking order Starland. Yes, even at our current speed, we can reach striking order Starland in at most 2 months. Lanya also stood up and spoke with a smile. After that, she thought about it and added, but we are already very close to the Ranchang star. It would only take us a few days to reach there. Since we are not going to the Ranchang star, we don't have to worry about it. Ning Cheng chuckled. Lanya did not smile. She looked at Ning Cheng and spoke. Ning Cheng, junior apprentice Sister Yulan and I have decided to leave this place and head to the Ranchang star. From now on, we will be starry skies wanderers. Ning Cheng's smile froze for a while before he spoke. Are you serious? Are you not going to the time wilderness? Senior apprentice brother Ning, we have already thought about it. We just waited for you to come out and tell you. Shi Yulan's voice arrived. At this moment, her face no longer showed any abnormalities. Lanya sighed. Ning Cheng, with our cultivation, what can we do in the time wilderness? Even if we could walk together with you, we would only be dragging you down. As starry skies cultivators, we can't always rely on you. Originally, Yulan and I planned to leave after coming out of the time wilderness. But after the rat tide, we decided to leave now. After we leave, please take care of yourself. Ning Cheng could see that Lanya and Shi Yulan had already made up their minds, causing him to sigh in his heart. Although he wanted Shi Yulan and Lanya to follow him into the time wilderness, Lanya's words also made sense. After entering the time wilderness, they might not necessarily be together. With Lanya and Shi Yulan's cultivation, entering the time wilderness would indeed be extremely dangerous. Lanya and Shi Yulan were not Ji Lufei and Shi Qianghua. They had nothing to do with him. He had no right to ask them to do anything. A starry skies cultivator should have their own decisions and their own paths. Thinking of this, Ning Cheng took out a ring and handed it to Lanya. Senior apprentice Sister Lan, there are 2 billion green coins inside. It also contains a good battleship. You can have it. Lanya put away the ring and smiled. I know you're rich, so I won't be polite. Ning Cheng then took out a jade box and handed it to Shi Yulan. Junior apprentice Sister Yulan, let bygones be bygones. I hope that we can meet again in the future. This is for you, maybe it can help you a little. Shi Yulan took the jade box and looked at Ning Cheng for a while before taking out a veil and putting it on before speaking. Senior apprentice brother Ning, take care. As for Ning Cheng saying that he hoped that they would meet again in the future, Shi Yulan did not say anything. She knew that they would never meet again in the future. The vast starry sky was boundless. Not to mention that they were just celestial scryer cultivators. Even if they were starry sky emperors, the chances of them meeting each other in the vast starry skies was extremely slim. Moreover, after entering the starry sky and becoming a starry sky wanderer, they didn't know if they would still be alive the next day. Watching Lanya and Shi Yulan control the battleship and leave, Ning Cheng felt quite melancholic in his heart. He didn't have many friends in the starry sky, and these few friends had all left due to various reasons. If not for the rat tide, the four of them could have entered the time wilderness. But now, out of the four of them, he was the only one left. As Lanya and Shi Yulan sat inside the battleship, Ning Cheng's farewell song resounded in their ears. The cliff of the heavens, the edge of the earth, half of my friends are gone. Life is a rare gathering, only parting. As Lanya and Shi Yulan listened to Ning Cheng's farewell song, they suddenly felt a surge of sadness in their hearts. In just a short time, Ning Cheng's song disappeared, and Ning Cheng's battleship also disappeared from their spiritual consciousness. The sadness of parting would eventually pass. At this moment, Ning Cheng was sitting on the deck of the Celestial River battleship in a pleasant surprise. At the same time, the sadness of parting disappeared without a trace. In the palm of his hand stood the void explosive golden wasp king that had just hatched. His void explosive golden wasp had finally hatched. Although it was still in its infancy, its body was already half a foot long. This explosive golden wasp king had a pale yellow body and a pair of wings so thin that they were almost invisible. The explosive golden wasp king jumped from Ning Cheng's palm to Ning Cheng's shoulder, and then from his shoulder to the deck. Its emotions revealed its dependence on Ning Cheng. Ha! Ning Cheng laughed. He finally had his own starry skies companion beast. He was already fantasizing about the future when he wielded the twin wings of the heavenly clouds and walked through the vast starry skies, only to suddenly encounter an endless starry skies beast tide. Then, with a wave of his hand, more terrifying explosive golden wasps swarmed up. He just had to stand on the side and watch the beast tide turn into ashes in front of the explosive golden wasps. Explosive golden wasps were void demonic beasts that needed to absorb the starry sky's essence chi. Therefore, it was not difficult to raise a swarm of void explosive golden wasps. However, it was extremely difficult to raise this swarm of void explosive golden wasps into a high-grade wasp swarm. Ning Cheng thought about the endless cultivation resources that would become food for the exploding golden wasps, causing his happy mood to sink. Poor, when could he get rid of this destitute situation? After Jing Wuming left, Lanya and Shi Yulan also left. Now that Ning Cheng had the explosive golden wasp king, he finally had one more person to communicate with. Ning Cheng communicated with the explosive golden wasp king along the way, allowing time to pass by quickly. He also gave his void explosive golden wasp king a name, Graceful Star. The reason for this name was to reminisce about the Graceful Star mainland. In less than 2 months, a huge planet appeared within Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness. This planet did not even have a regular circular shape and looked more like a floating continent from afar. The universe's starry skies truly was a wondrous place. It even had this kind of floating starland. Ning Cheng put away the explosive golden wasp king and controlled the Celestial River-class battleship to arrive outside this huge starland. Arriving here, Ning Cheng could clearly see that this starland was dozens of times bigger compared to the Orchid Burrow star. Just like entering other planets, one needed to apply for an identity jade card before entering. At the identity card processing office outside the starland, one could see a few huge characters suspended in the starry skies, striking Order Starland. Ning Cheng's knockoff Celestial River-class battleship parked next to the many real Celestial River-class battleships, looking extremely shabby. In this place, Ning Cheng truly saw what it meant by experts as common as clouds. Any random cultivator in this place would have a few celestial wheels suspended behind them. But cultivators like Ning Cheng, who did not even have a single celestial wheel, were truly hard to find. "What can I do for you?" Ning Cheng had just walked to a window when a crisp and pleasant voice rang out in Ning Cheng's ears. A very pleasant and pretty female cultivator looked at Ning Cheng with a smile and a very kind attitude. "Hello, I'm from the Orchid Borough Celestial River's revolving Jade City." Hearing Ning Cheng's words, the pretty female cultivator asked in surprise. The Orchid Borough Celestial River's battleship encountered a Starry Skies spirit-devouring rat tide midway, resulting in countless deaths and injuries. She was surprised that Ning Cheng could escape from the spirit-devouring rat tide with such a low cultivation. The pretty female cultivator quickly felt that her words were a little impolite and quickly spoke up. "Then I must congratulate you for escaping from the spirit-devouring rat tide and arriving at the Striking Order Starland. The Striking Order Starland welcomes you. If you are a cultivator participating in the Time Wilderness, you can directly enter the Striking Order Starland with your participation Jade card. There is no need to apply for another Identity Jade card. Many thanks, Senior Apprentice Sister." Ning Cheng felt overjoyed on hearing these words. Seeing Ning Cheng turn around to leave, the pretty female cultivator quickly called out to Ning Cheng, "Please wait a little longer. You still have to record your participation Jade card for me." Ning Cheng took out his participation Jade card and handed it over. After the pretty female cultivator's spiritual consciousness swept through the Jade card, she looked at Ning Cheng and spoke with a smile. "Are you Ning Cheng?" "Yes, what's wrong?" Ning Cheng looked at this female cultivator with a puzzled expression. He had just arrived at the Striking Order Starland, as such, no one should have recognized him. The pretty female cultivator quickly spoke up. "It's nothing. A fairy named Ruan Mingshu left a message here. She said that if you came here, please go to the Striking Order Starland's Eternal Peace resting pen in the Lucky Heaven City to find her." After saying that, she handed the participation Jade card to Ning Cheng once again. After Ning Cheng thanked her, he couldn't help but think in his heart that this woman had already arrived at the Striking Order Starland. Most likely, her message was a random act. Ning Cheng guessed that she had never thought that he would survive to reach the Striking Order Starland. Although Ruan Mingshu escaped alone without even saying a word, Ning Cheng did not feel surprised, nor did he feel any anger. If it were Jing Wuming or Lanya who escaped without saying a word, he would have felt a little sad in his heart. However, he did not feel anything towards Ruan Mingshu. He and the Ruan clan only had a cooperative relationship. There was no friendship between them. Although Ning Cheng did not plan to stay at the Eternal Peace resting pen, he still wanted to take a look at Ruan Mingshu's invitation. After all, he still owed her a Grade 4 Celestial River Array disc. Moreover, he also wanted to ask Ruan Mingshu about how to enter the Time Wilderness. Lucky Heaven City was the main city of the Striking Order Starland. He heard that the Starry Sky Emperor of the Striking Order Starry Sky lived here. After Ning Cheng entered the Lucky Heaven City, he immediately felt that this place was completely different from the Orchid Borough Celestial River's main city, the revolving Jade City. As the main city of the Striking Order Starry Sky, the Lucky Heaven City had an extremely spacious area. Even if there were many cultivators coming and going in the city, the Lucky Heaven City would not feel crowded. What Ning Cheng worried about the most was that this place was the main city of the Striking Order Starry Sky, which would soon host the Striking Order Starry Sky's Celestial Scryer Genius Tryouts. However, after entering the spacious city with rich Starry Sky Essence Chi, Ning Cheng realized that his worries were unnecessary. Although there were a lot of cultivators in this place, there were also a lot of places to stay. Ning Cheng easily found a place called Celestial Rainbow Rest Pen. Ning Cheng did not immediately check into the rest pen. Instead, he purchased a jade strip with a map of the Lucky Heaven City. After finding the location of the Eternal Peace Rest Pen on the map, he then headed towards the Eternal Peace Rest Pen. When he arrived at the Eternal Peace Rest Pen, Ning Cheng did not have the time to ask the staff of the rest pen which room Ruan Mingshu was staying in when he saw Ruan Mingshu and a handsome male cultivator walking out while talking and laughing. Junior Apprentice Sister Mingshu, what a coincidence! Ning Cheng called out with a smile. Ruan Mingshu, on seeing Ning Cheng standing at the door of the rest pen, suddenly changed her expression before revealing a pleasant surprise. Senior Apprentice Brother Ning. Ning Cheng acted as if he did not see the person beside Yuan Mingshu and still spoke with a smile. By the way, junior apprentice Sister Mingshu, are we still staying in the same room? Chapter 528. As soon as Ning Cheng's words came out, the expression of the handsome man beside Yuan Mingshu changed slightly before he looked at Yuan Mingshu in doubt. Yuan Mingshu was also slightly startled. She did not expect Ning Cheng to ask such a question. For a moment, she could not find the right words to answer Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng was not in a hurry and still waited with a smile on his face. He did not want to disgust Yuan Mingshu, but to tell Yuan Mingshu, "Cooperation is cooperation, don't use any honey trap or any gentle tricks to put on an act. You were so gentle in the revolving Jade City, as if you were a couple. Why didn't you call me when you ran away? If we want to cooperate, then just say it directly, don't use other means to fool me. I'm not a fool. I'll go to Lucky Heaven City first. If junior apprentice Sister Mingshu has something to say, just send me a message." Seeing Yuan Mingshu about to speak, Ning Cheng simply stopped in front of her. He just wanted to remind Yuan Mingshu not to treat him as a fool. As for how Yuan Mingshu answered, he did not care. "Wait, senior apprentice brother Ning, I have something to talk to you about. If you want, we can stay in the same room." Yuan Mingshu called out to Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng looked at Yuan Mingshu in surprise. He thought that Yuan Mingshu would step down, but he did not expect Yuan Mingshu to say such a thing. The handsome male cultivator beside Yuan Mingshu, whose stiff expression suddenly disappeared, showed a relaxed smile and spoke, "Mingshu, I'll take my leave first." Watching the handsome male cultivator walk out of the rest stop, Yuan Mingshu stared into Ning Cheng's eyes and spoke, "Senior apprentice brother Ning, if you are satisfied now, please follow me to my room." Ning Cheng felt a little strange in his heart, but he did not care about it. He followed Yuan Mingshu to her room and found that Yuan Mingshu did not live in a double room, but a single room. "Senior apprentice brother Ning, I know you must be blaming me for not telling you before I left. In fact, if I had delayed even a little bit, I would not have been able to leave. You should also be very clear about the horrors of the starry skies spirit-devouring rat tide. Even if I could take you away, I would not be able to reach the second floor. Moreover, I know that you would not come with me." Yuan Mingshu spoke in a calm tone, as if Ning Cheng's words did not make her angry. Not waiting for Ning Cheng to answer, she continued, "You are very good to your friends, although I do not know much about you, but I have spent some time with you. I knew that you wouldn't leave your friends behind and go with me, so I left on my own. Besides, even if you're willing to come with me, I don't have the ability to take you away." Ning Cheng did not come here to listen to Yuan Mingshu's explanation, but Yuan Mingshu's sincere and gentle explanation made Ning Cheng not know what to say. The person who just left is called Zhao Yanxiang. Yuan Mingshu took the initiative to speak again. Ning Cheng suddenly understood, "So it was him, I know. Manor Lord Yuan asked me to help keep an eye on him. I think he's the one they're talking about." Yuan Mingshu smiled. "My father thinks that I like him, that's why he said that to you. Actually, he likes me very much, and I don't have any antipathy towards him. That's all. Moreover, senior apprentice brother Yan Xiang will also be coming with us to the Time Wilderness. I don't care who else is coming with us. I just arrived here, so you need to tell me when to enter the Time Wilderness and how to get in." Ning Cheng did not want to ask about these messy relationships. Yuan Mingshu took out a jade strip and handed it to Ning Cheng before speaking. "This is a jade strip with a map of the Time Wilderness. Our Orchid Burrow Celestial Rivers battleship was attacked by the Starry Skies spirit-devouring rat tide, and the Celestial River King suddenly disappeared for some unknown reason. Therefore, our Orchid Burrow Celestial Rivers participants, as long as you have a participation jade card, can enter the Time Wilderness once it opens." When Ning Cheng heard that the Orchid Burrow Celestial River King had left, he immediately felt shocked. The Orchid Burrow Celestial River King must have left because of Imperial Concubine Xianyu. Maybe he went after Imperial Concubine Xianyu. What should he do? In case the Orchid Burrow Celestial River King caught up with Xianyu, regardless of whether Xianyu died or not, Jing Wuming would definitely die. Unfortunately, he could only worry about it. With his cultivation, he could not help at all. Striking Order Starry Skies has 12 celestial rivers, which is one of the smaller starry skies. This time, there are more than 300,000 cultivators entering the Time Wilderness, and many of them know about the perpetual moon lake. Therefore, our chances are not very good. After Ruan Mingshu finished her explanation, she quietly waited for Ning Cheng to ask. Ning Cheng then realized that the perpetual moon lake was not a secret of the Ruan clan, but an open secret. What kind of cooperation was this? 12 celestial rivers should have around 120,000 participants. How come there are already 300,000 participants? Also, my cultivation is still too low. If only the three of us form a team to enter the perpetual moon lake, I estimate that we would not be able to find it. Not even our bones would be left behind. Ning Cheng's tone revealed some disappointment. Ruan Mingshu did not care about Ning Cheng's tone and spoke in a calm voice. The Orchid Burrow Celestial River is also a weak celestial river within the Striking Order Starry Skies, with only 10,000 participants. Moreover, the other celestial rivers have far more participants than the Orchid Burrow Celestial River. In addition, although many people know about the Perpetual Moon Lake, not many people know the exact location of the Perpetual Moon Lake. Therefore, although our chances are not high, we still have a higher chance compared to the others. Okay, I got it. After the Time Wilderness opens, you can just send me a message. Ning Cheng stood up after saying that. Ruan Mingshu did not move and spoke up. Don't you live here? You only have one room here. Instead of you opening another room, it would be better for me to find a room by myself. A room, you can also sleep here. Ruan Mingshu's words surprised Ning Cheng. Although Ruan Mingshu had used some tricks on him, he always thought that this woman was relatively conservative. What did she mean by that? Ning Cheng found that Ruan Mingshu's expression was very serious, without even a hint of mockery or sarcasm. He frowned for a moment before speaking up. I'll sleep here, what about you? Ruan Mingshu looked at the bed and spoke with a slight smile. This bed is very big. Seeing Ruan Mingshu's seriousness, Ning Cheng had to speak up. Thank you, but I prefer to live in a room alone. If there is anything, just send me a message. Whether Ruan Mingshu's words were true or false, Ning Cheng did not want to continue this hypocritical conversation with her. Seeing Ning Cheng's departing back, Ruan Mingshu sighed and did not continue to speak. Instead, she took out a pot of wine and poured herself a cup. Ruan Mingshu did not sit for long, when the handsome male cultivator who had left before appeared outside her room again. It was the Zhao Yanxiang that Ruan Mingshu had mentioned to Ning Cheng. Ruan Mingshu frowned slightly before putting away the wine. She then walked to the door and opened the restriction. Looking at Zhao Yanxiang standing at the door, she did not ask him to come in and sit down. Who is he? Zhao Yanxiang did not enter the room and only asked those 3 words. He entered the Time Wilderness with us, and is a partner of my Ruan clan. Ruan Mingshu did not hide it. Zhao Yanxiang felt slightly relieved. Junior apprentice Sister Mingshu, you are too kind. Why would you give such a person any face? If he wanted to sow discord between us, you could have just said no. Why did you have to make him step down? Ruan Mingshu spoke up in a calm tone. I did not say any empty words. I intend to keep him in my room. Zhao Yanxiang's expression changed once again. Ruan Mingshu did not explain anything. Zhao Yanxiang clenched his fists and spoke. Why? Do you like him? What about me? Besides, even if you like him, with your personality, you would not let him live with you, would you? Ruan Mingshu looked at Zhao Yanxiang softly and spoke. Senior apprentice brother Yanxiang, if you must say I like you more. Senior apprentice brother Ning is a good person and I owe him. You owe him and you want him to stay here? What kind of logic is this? Besides, what do you owe him? Zhao Yanxiang finally could not control his emotions. I don't know him now, but I will soon owe him. Maybe you will also owe him. Ruan Mingshu shook her head, activated the restriction again, and slowly walked back to her room. She had her own principles. Ning Cheng had nothing to do with her. Moreover, after getting along with him, she understood that Ning Cheng was not a sinister person. She already wanted someone's life, so what was wrong with being a bit gentle and agreeing to other people's requests? Back in her room, Ruan Mingshu took out the wine pot again. This time, she did not take out a wine cup. Instead, she took a few sips from the wine pot and murmured, "Maybe I'm not suitable to fight for anything in the starry skies." Her father and her friends all thought that letting a stranger die was the right thing to do. However, she still felt guilty in her heart. If she could not compensate for this guilt, it would affect her cultivation. No matter what Ruan Mingshu meant, Ning Qing did not continue to wander around Lucky Heaven City. Lucky Heaven City now had countless cultivators from across the starry skies. With his current cultivation, if he offended someone, it would not be enough. Ning Qing stayed in his residence. Apart from communicating with Wasp King Graceful Star, he continued to explore his spiritual consciousness. He wanted to use his spiritual consciousness to construct a complete set of offensive methods. It's just that he didn't know much about the theoretical knowledge of cultivation. Every time, he would get stuck at a key point and have no way to explain it. On the other hand, Wasp King Graceful Star grew very quickly. Almost all the medicinal pills Ning Qing refined in the past ended up being eaten by it. This fellow even started to eat the starry sky crystals. Time passed by quickly. Ning Qing had already been in Lucky Heaven City for half a month, but he still had not received any message from Ruan Mingshu. On this day, Ning Qing was tempering his spiritual consciousness in his room in the rest stop when he suddenly heard a burst of screams and spatial fluctuations. Ning Qing had not entered the starry skies for a day or two, so he had a good understanding of the big cities within the starry skies. No fighting, no trouble. However, these screams and spatial fluctuations indicated a large-scale fight and disturbance. If not for the strong celestial essence fluctuations, he would not have heard anything from his room. Ning Qing immediately opened the restrictions and was about to go out to have a look when the rest stop's shop assistant quickly came up and stopped him. "Friend, 2 Celestial Rivers cultivators are stirring up trouble outside. It's a big mess right now. You must not go out at this time, lest you get into trouble." "Dare to cause trouble in Lucky Heaven City?" Ning Qing asked. Wasn't Lucky Heaven City the premier city of Striking Order Starland? How could they cause trouble here? But the fact was that tens of thousands of cultivators were fighting on the spacious streets, killing a large number of cultivators and destroying rows of buildings. The shop assistant sneered, "You'll know soon enough." Chapter 529. It didn't take long for Ning Qing to realize it. A cold snort came from the air. Even Ning Qing, who was staying inside the rest stop, felt his heart tremble. This cold snort felt like a hammer slamming into his chest, causing him to feel extremely uncomfortable. What a powerful cultivation! Ning Qing had just thought of it when a huge hand slammed down. The next moment, the tens of thousands of cultivators who were still fighting turned into slag like ants. The street, which had turned into a chaotic pot of porridge a few seconds ago, turned empty and silent after the huge hand slammed down. Ning Qing felt his scalp tingling. He could already imagine the power of a celestial river king. However, the owner of this hand was so powerful that he had never even thought about it before. This person should be comparable to the powerhouses he saw in the everlasting Blue Thunder City, right? Distant Exceptional Celestial River and Essence Continent Celestial River ignored the rules of Striking Order Starry Skies and started a group fight in Striking Order Starland. As such, these 2 celestial rivers are disqualified from entering the Time Wilderness. All cultivators involved in the fight will be punished with death. Distant Exceptional Celestial River King and Essence Continent Celestial River King will be punished with death. As for the celestial lords of these 2 celestial rivers, as long as they have any cultivators involved in the fight, they will be punished with death. As the giant hand disappeared, the voice in the air also faded away. Only the lingering sound lingered in Ning Qing's ears. Ning Qing sucked in a breath of cold air. This fellow was too domineering. Was this the Striking Order Starry Skies Emperor? In a group fight, he had executed tens of thousands of cultivators. At the same time, he had also killed many celestial lords and 2 celestial river kings. From this, it could be seen that within Striking Order Starry Skies, the Striking Order Starry Skies Emperor was the truth. Without waiting for Ning Cheng to ask, everyone on the street bowed and shouted in unison, "Long live Striking Order Heavenly Emperor." It was not until a long time later that the street returned to its original state. Everyone still did what they were doing. No one showed any signs of abnormality even though tens of thousands of people had died. What was power? This was what true strength was like. Ning Cheng thought about his celestial novice cultivation and felt insignificant for the first time. With the Striking Order Starry Skies Emperor acting so domineeringly, Ning Cheng did not want to show off outside. He was just about to return to the hotel when his gaze swept past a pretty figure. When he saw the face of that beautiful figure, he almost called out the 3 words Su Yingde. However, Ning Cheng soon realized that this was not Su Yingde. Although Su Yingde was a top beauty, but she was still far from being as beautiful as the woman in front of him. She had big, bright, pitch-black eyes, skin as white as porcelain, and a beautiful face that looked like that of an innocent girl. It was hard to even speak loudly. She had such a pure and innocent face, yet she had an incomparably firm chest, which made it even more difficult for people to look away. Ning Cheng only glanced at it before moving his gaze away. This woman looked too much like Su Yingde, to the point that he almost mistook this woman for Su Yingde. Moreover, this woman had 4 celestial wheels behind her, indicating that she was at least a celestial bridge cultivator. Even if Su Yingde was a genius, it was impossible for her to become a celestial bridge cultivator in such a short time. "You know me?" Ning Cheng's fluctuating emotions and the look in his eyes had attracted the attention of this woman. She deliberately walked in front of Ning Cheng and looked at Ning Cheng from head to toe. She was sure that she had never seen Ning Cheng before, but when Ning Cheng saw her a moment ago, it was obvious that he knew her. Ning Cheng quickly spoke up, "I don't know, I just saw my friend coming over and felt a little excited." Saying that, Ning Cheng pointed behind this woman. Behind this woman, a woman with a veil over her face came over and walked towards Ning Cheng's side. The porcelain doll-like beautiful innocent girl did not leave. She deliberately stood next to Ning Cheng and waited for the woman with the veil over her face to walk in front of Ning Cheng before speaking up with a smile, "Is he your friend?" The woman with the veil over her face bowed to this innocent and beautiful girl, before speaking up in a soft voice, replying to Senior, "He is my friend Ning Cheng. We made an appointment to meet here." Ning Cheng secretly thanked this woman in his heart, while at the same time also admired this woman's clear mind. "Ning Cheng, that's a good name. I'll be leaving now, maybe I'll come back to see you in the future." The porcelain doll-like beautiful girl gave Ning Cheng a bright smile, revealing her perfect white teeth. After taking a few steps, she suddenly turned back and spoke to Ning Cheng, "By the way, I forgot to tell you my name. My name is Su Binglong, you have to remember it." After Ning Cheng heard the name, his body trembled, and a roar sounded in his head. Su Binglong, he was too familiar with this name. Wasn't this woman and Sang Yen famous throughout the Tian continent? The 2 women had fallen in love with the Heavenly Tao Academy's Yen Fenghua, which resulted in a grudge between them. It also resulted in the emergence of 2 major academies, the Floating Snow Palace and the Severing Emotions Tao sect. Su Anjin, who had a huge grudge against Ning Cheng, was a descendant of this woman. Su Yingde, who had a complicated grudge against Ning Cheng, was also a descendant of this woman. No wonder when he first saw this woman he almost mistook her for Su Yingde. This woman looked so pure and lovely, innocent and brilliant, that people could not help but have a good impression of her. However, Ning Cheng was very clear that the women of the Severing Emotions Tao sect, after severing their emotions, would have countless men. In other words, this young and beautiful, pure and lovely Su Binglong did not know how many men she had. Thinking of this, Ning Cheng almost felt as if he had swallowed a fly. In contrast, Ning Cheng's impression of the Floating Snow Palace was much better than that of the Severing Emotions Tao sect. "Can you invite me in to sit?" The woman with the veil over her face on seeing Ning Cheng in a daze, spoke up with a smile. Ning Cheng immediately recovered and quickly spoke up, "Senior Qinyu, many thanks for your help just now." Ning Cheng had always had a good impression of this woman with the veil over her face. Back in the rest stop, If not for this woman, he would not have found an excuse to take off the robe with the spiritual consciousness tag. However, today, that somewhat unruly Cece was not with her. The woman with the veil over her face showed a slight smile. I only have a celestial gatherer cultivation. My surname is Shin, you can just call me Chinyu from now on. Alright, senior apprentice Sister Chinyu, please come upstairs with me. I will be staying in this rest stop. Ning Cheng politely invited. After bringing Shun Chinyu to the room, Ning Cheng activated the restrictions before speaking up again. Thank you. Shin Chinyu spoke up with a smile. I just happened to pass by when I helped you. I did not expect that you would always be targeted by some experts. Ning Cheng understood the meaning behind Shin Chinyu's words, which meant that it was more than once. However, Ning Cheng did not admit to the previous incident. Once he admitted it, it would mean that he also knew that a heaven-seated expert had placed a spiritual consciousness tag on him. He would remember this woman's kindness in his heart. However, he did not want to talk about other things. After all, this was only the second time the two had met. Actually, I came here today to look for you for something. Seeing that Ning Cheng did not speak much, even less than her, Shin Chinyu took the initiative to speak up. Ning Cheng smiled. Senior apprentice Sister Chinyu helped me. If I can help you, then I will definitely do my best. Senior apprentice sister, please speak. Shen Chinyu spoke up in a straightforward manner. I know that you will also enter the time wilderness. I hope that you can help me in the time wilderness. Ning Cheng spoke up with an apologetic tone. Senior apprentice Sister Chinyu, although I really want to help you, my cultivation is still too low. I'm afraid that I can't help you. Moreover, junior apprentice Sister Wan Mingshu and I have teamed up, so we can't part ways. No, you can definitely help me with this. I have a communication pearl here. If I need your help, I can send you a message. If you don't have the time, or are busy, you can just ignore my message. After saying that, Shin Chinyu held the communication pearl and looked at Ning Cheng calmly. She waited for Ning Cheng's answer. Ning Cheng did not know what Shin Chinyu was talking about, but why did he feel sure that he could help? Shin Chinyu could see that the white-robed man had left a spiritual consciousness tag on him. Moreover, Shin Chinyu could use a talisman to block a blow from a celestial river expert. From this, Ning Cheng understood that this woman definitely did not have a simple background. What did such a complicated person need his help for? Despite his doubts, Ning Cheng still took the communication pearl and spoke up with a smile. Naturally, as long as I am free and can help you, I will definitely help. Although he did not say anything, whether he could help or not, it was up to him to decide. Shin Chinyu did not seem to hear Ning Cheng's words at all. She suddenly took off her veil and spoke to Ning Cheng with a smile. Junior apprentice brother Ning, I will take you to a place tonight. You will definitely benefit a lot from it. Ning Cheng looked at the woman in front of him with a delicate appearance and wondered why she would wear a veil. However, he quickly understood what was going on. Could it be that only he was allowed to have a Dao artifact, while others did not? Obviously, this delicate face was not Shin Chinyu's original appearance. This woman was truly mysterious. My cultivation is very low, and I don't like to go out. I'll just stay here and rest. Senior apprentice Sister Chinyu, you can go by yourself. Ning Cheng politely refused Shin Chinyu's invitation. Shen Chinyu did not care about it and still spoke with a smile on her face. This is a Dao discussion gathering of Striking Order Starry Skies geniuses. All kinds of genius cultivators from various celestial rivers within the Striking Order Starry Skies are invited to this place. I also managed to get an invitation through someone else. If a rogue cultivator went to this place and listened to others talk about Dao cultivation and some Starry Skies spirit techniques, they would definitely gain a lot from it. This kind of harvest would be several times better than listening to one's own master or fellow disciples. After all, it does not originate from the same place. Moreover, the difference in cultivation is not too big. As such, the things one could comprehend and the difficulties one would encounter would also not be too far apart. Sometimes, with just a little bit of guidance from others, one would suddenly become enlightened. I think junior apprentice brother Ning should go to this place. Building a cart behind closed doors would indeed reduce a lot of trouble. However, cultivating within the starry skies, one cannot be afraid of trouble, nor can one build a cart behind closed doors. In fact, Ning Cheng had already been moved by Shen Qinyu's words. Although his cultivation had stagnated, his understanding of spiritual consciousness cultivation methods had also stagnated at a certain point, with no way to go any further. He would always end up encountering a bottleneck that he could not break through. However, he could not break through this bottleneck. Okay, then many thanks, Senior Apprentice Sister Qinyu. I'll go with Senior Apprentice Sister Qinyu. Once Ning Cheng made up his mind, he would not hesitate for even half a moment. Chapter 530. The venue for the Tao discussion gathering was located in the most prosperous downtown area of Lucky Heaven City. Ning Cheng was not a person who had not seen the world. Therefore, when he followed Shen Qinyu into the Tao discussion venue, he immediately felt shocked by the luxury of this place. It was nighttime, but it was like daytime here. It was not the kind of daytime that was illuminated by lights, but a kind of natural daytime. The entire venue was filled with celestial charm, celestial cranes, rainbow bridges, flowing water, celestial bamboo, flowing wine, along with a variety of spirit fruits that could be picked at any time, along with beautiful women shuttling back and forth. This scene reminded Ning Cheng of the peaches of immortality. This was simply a knockoff version of the peaches of immortality. The participants hadn't all arrived yet, but they were already chatting loudly in groups of 3 to 5. They picked up the wine casually and picked all kinds of spirit fruits to eat. The scale looks very big. Ning Cheng spoke in a low voice. Shen Qinyu didn't have time to answer when she heard a cultivator next to her speak up. Of course, there are several celestial river kings coming over tonight. I heard that the Striking Order Starry Sky Emperor would also be present. Striking Order Heavenly Emperor would take this opportunity to see what kind of geniuses the Striking Order Starry Sky has. There was a hint of pride in the cultivator's tone. Clearly, being invited here was something to be proud of. Shen Qinyu smiled at Ning Cheng and spoke. You can do whatever you want in the Tao discussion convention. You can find anyone to talk about Tao laws, and you can also enjoy the good wine and spirit fruits here. If you have any questions, you can also ask the maids around you. I also didn't expect that Striking Order Heavenly Emperor would come here. Remember not to use your spiritual consciousness to sweep out the Heavenly Emperor. I'll go greet a few of my acquaintances. You can sit anywhere you like. Ning Cheng quickly spoke up. Senior Apprentice Sister Qinyu, I will be careful. Wasn't this just a gathering of the upper class? He carefully looked around. If he felt that it was meaningful, he would continue to stay and listen. If he felt that it was meaningless, he would leave. Shen Qinyu felt very reassured by Ning Cheng's words. She knew that Ning Cheng was not a person who would cause trouble. Moreover, she could tell from Ning Cheng's actions that Ning Cheng chose to stay in the rest stop. After Shen Qinyu left, Ning Cheng walked up to a group of people talking loudly and listened to their discussion about the Tao. In just a few breaths, Ning Cheng's heart shook violently. Usually, it would take him a long time to figure out some very obvious principles, but here, with a simple sentence from someone else, he suddenly understood everything. Coming here tonight was the right choice. Ning Cheng felt excited in his heart. He did not stay here. He was ready to find a secluded place to sit down and listen carefully. Ning Cheng carefully bypassed the crowd. Some of these people were talking about the Tao of pills, some were talking about crafting artifacts, but most of them were talking about cultivation. Regardless of which school it was, regardless of what the other party talked about, after Ning Cheng listened to it, he felt a deep sense of enlightenment. Ning Cheng found a seat in the most remote corner of the Tao discussion hall. This place was relatively dark, and not many people came here. But for Ning Cheng it was the best place. Here, his spiritual consciousness could listen to other people's discussion to its heart's content, and then extract the essence and discard the dregs, turning it into his own. His cultivation method was different from others. The mysterious yellow formless was formless and shapeless, allowing him to cultivate the flow of celestial essence that could change at any time and place. Therefore, he could learn from the strengths of various cultivation methods to make up for his shortcomings. Ning Cheng felt that he had only cultivated an internal strength cultivation method and did not understand the mnemonic chants. as he crazily absorbed all kinds of cultivation tips. The Tao discussion assembly had not yet started, but Ning Cheng had already entered a state of immersion. He didn't need to discuss with others, as anyone's discussion, he could put forward the key parts that he needed. At this moment, Ning Cheng couldn't help but sigh in his heart. The mysterious yellow bead was heaven-defying, and the mysterious yellow formless was also heaven-defying. However, over the countless years, the various cultivation tips and methods that the Starry Sky seniors had sorted out were not inferior to the mysterious yellow bead. These tips and cultivation methods were the result of the accumulation of time and repeated verification by the predecessors, which made them incomparably precious. Ning Cheng glanced at Shen Qinyu in the distance and thanked her in his heart before immersing himself in the crazy absorption. As more and more people arrived at the Tao Discussion Assembly, the voices of the Tao Discussion Assembly also grew louder. Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness immersed itself in the voices of the Tao Discussion Assembly, but he didn't feel anything. His heart had formed a complete cycle. Initially, some of the scattered insights, now slowly linked together to form a Tao law system that belonged to him. Ning Cheng vaguely felt that although his cultivation had not progressed, if he were to find a place to go into seclusion for a year and a half, he would definitely be able to reach the next level. Sharpening a knife really did not delay the chopping of firewood. No one could understand Ning Cheng's mood at this time. "Welcome, Striking Order Heavenly Emperor." A voice woke Ning Cheng up. Ning Cheng suddenly stood up, only to find that the surrounding voices of the Tao Discussion Assembly had completely stopped. A melodious music resounded, and a middle-aged man in purple robes slowly walked into the venue between two rows of maids. Behind him were more than a dozen Starry Sky cultivators. Each of these cultivators had a celestial wheel behind them. The celestial wheel behind Striking Order Heavenly Emperor seemed invisible at first glance, but after a closer look, it turned out to be a round sun, which looked extremely dazzling. Ning Cheng retracted his gaze and stood in the corner with his head down, not daring to make any movements. He had personally witnessed Striking Order Heavenly Emperor's strength and power. Even though he had only seen an illusory hand, that hand was still a little too terrifying. Striking Order Heavenly Emperor walked to the middle of the Tao Discussion Assembly and sat down on a high-back chair. Sweeping his gaze over the entire Tao Discussion Assembly, he then slowly spoke. "Everyone here is my Striking Order Starry Skies geniuses and elites. Whether a Starry Skies cultivator can reach the peak or not, it is inseparable from his or her nirvana realm. Today, almost all the cultivators here are going to enter the time wilderness for the trial. Therefore, while I congratulate you on your good luck, I also want to say a few words." The Tao Discussion Assembly turned silent, as everyone listened attentively to Striking Order Heavenly Emperor's words. Striking Order Heavenly Emperor nodded with satisfaction. "The universe is vast and boundless. My Striking Order Starry Sky is just a remote corner of this vast universe. In the entire Starry Sky universe, the best cultivation resources are not in my Striking Order Starry Sky, but in the vast universe. Unfortunately, our Starry Sky's strength is too low to compete for more good things. Over a long period of time, our Starry Sky's strength has continued to decline, and our status has also grown weaker. This time, my Striking Order Starry Sky is organizing the Celestial Scryer Genius Tryouts to select some of the talented cultivators to represent my Striking Order Starry Sky in the competition, to prove to the entire universe that my Striking Order Starry Sky is also one of the powerhouses in the universe." Enthusiastic cheers erupted, as everyone felt respect for Striking Order Heavenly Emperor's words. Striking Order Heavenly Emperor even stood up and raised his voice. "I came here today because I am also eager for the emergence of true geniuses from my Striking Order Starry Sky. Since my Striking Order Starry Sky's time wilderness is about to open, I specifically came to this Tao Discussion Assembly. I also hope that you will not let me down. I will be here to listen to your Tao discussion. If you have any questions, you can ask them. If you have any opinions, you can also speak them out. The Tao Discussion Assembly will now begin." As Striking Order Heavenly Emperor announced the start of the Tao discussion, Ning Cheng felt the surrounding laws becoming clearer. It also allowed him to comprehend the various Tao laws more easily. Ning Cheng felt excited and overjoyed in his heart. He naturally knew that this had something to do with striking order Heavenly Emperor. It would truly be a pity to miss such an opportunity. Ning Cheng naturally would not participate in the Tao discussion assembly. Instead, like striking order Heavenly Emperor, he chose to listen. However, striking order Heavenly Emperor wanted to hear who had the most potential and who was more worthy of his attention. Ning Cheng listened to everything. As long as he could absorb the Tao laws, he would sort them out. Therefore, it was normal for Tao discussion assemblies to have disputes. Some people even ended up fighting over these disputes. In such a place, striking order Heavenly Emperor would never stop it. Cultivators who fought over Tao laws could go to the Tao discussion stage alone. Even if one side died, it would not be considered as offending the Heavenly Emperor. As the day passed by quickly, the cultivators in the Tao discussion assembly still enthusiastically expressed their opinions. However, striking order Heavenly Emperor suddenly stood up. After a day of listening, he had already identified some of the geniuses in his heart. From now on, he would pay special attention to these geniuses. Cultivators like Ning Cheng, who just sat in a corner and listened, obviously would not enter his eyes. The more talented a cultivator was, the more problems they would face. In such an occasion, a cultivator without a single problem, without a single opinion, would never be a genius. After striking order Heavenly Emperor left, the Tao discussion assembly not only did not weaken, but instead turned even more lively. Some male and female cultivators even started dancing wildly to express their inner joy. In this Tao discussion assembly, no one would care about such things. As long as both sides were willing, the Tao discussion assembly allowed it. Ning Cheng still sat quietly in a dark corner. His spiritual consciousness listened to more than just the cultivation of Tao laws. He even listened to alchemy, artifact crafting, and talismans. Especially the Tao of array formations, Ning Cheng listened carefully. Back in graceful Star Mainland, because of the many spiritual grasses, Ning Cheng's alchemy level had skyrocketed. At this time, he was already a grade 9 heavenly pill grandmaster. However, after entering the starry skies, he obtained fewer high-grade spiritual grasses, and he did not have many medicinal pills for cultivation. Moreover, his enthusiasm for alchemy had also weakened. Besides, he did not have much time to spend on alchemy. However, Ning Cheng's interest in the Tao of array formations had also increased a lot. The Tao of array formations had always helped him, not only in fights, but also in ordinary times. The higher one's attainment in the Tao of array formations, the higher one's survivability. The array formation masters who appeared in this Tao discussion assembly all had high attainments in the Tao of array formations. Moreover, each of them had their own heritage. Ning Cheng was definitely not someone who had to explore the Tao on his own. As a grade 1 celestial array master, Ning Cheng could learn a lot of knowledge from the various Tao of array formations that he normally would have to spend a lot of time to comprehend. Ning Cheng, who had completely forgotten about everything else, did not notice a handsome male cultivator staring at him and muttering to himself with a frown, "Why is this person here?" Chapter 5:31. Ning Cheng was currently immersed in a state of realization, sorting out some of the problems he faced in his cultivation. After this Tao discussion ended, as long as he could take some time to go into seclusion, his cultivation and strength would experience a qualitative improvement. Just then, a dangerous aura surged over. Ning Cheng did not even think about it and punched out. In a hurry, he did not hold back at all. Bang! A celestial essence explosion erupted, followed by a spray of blood. Ning Cheng's punch sent a medium-sized male cultivator flying back. This punch attracted the attention of many cultivators in the Tao discussion hall. It was not because someone was fighting, as it was normal to fight in the Tao discussion hall. It was because when the male cultivator flew back, one of his legs had disappeared. Apparently, Ning Cheng's punch had smashed it into pieces. Countless spiritual consciousnesses fell on Ning Cheng, filled with surprise, and all kinds of emotions. Ning Cheng looked like a celestial novice cultivator without even a celestial wheel, yet he managed to destroy a celestial shatter cultivator's leg with a single punch. Ning Cheng completely sobered up from that state of realization. He looked at the celestial shatter cultivator, who he had blown away, and felt calm in his heart. When this person had kicked him, he had felt a murderous intent. If he had still been immersed in that state of realization, or if his strength had not reached such a level, then the one lying on the ground without an arm or a leg would have been Ning Cheng. He might not even have been able to keep his life. The place where Ning Cheng sat was relatively quiet, but now that such a thing happened, it immediately turned lively. This matter has really blown up. Lu Xiao's leg was actually crippled. Even if he wanted to restore his cultivation, it would also greatly reduce his cultivation. Moreover, he would also need a top-quality spiritual object. Someone shook his head and looked at Ning Cheng with sympathy. Actually, it's not that big of a deal. That Lu Xiao took the initiative to kick this celestial novice cultivator. This celestial novice cultivator suddenly erupted, which resulted in Lu Xiao's leg being destroyed. The person next to him spoke up with disapproval. The person who spoke earlier looked at the disapproving cultivator and spoke in a calm voice. If you knew that Lu Xiao's nephew was Lu Pingchuan, you would not have said that. Don't think too much about it, Lu Pingchuan is already here. What? The disapproving cultivator replied in shock. He immediately took 2 steps back and looked at the black-robed male cultivator who came over. He didn't know who Lu Xiao was, but he knew who Lu Pingchuan was. If one had to choose the 10 most talented cultivators within the striking order Starry Skies, then Lu Pingchuan would definitely be on the list. This was a powerhouse from Shangmao Celestial River, with a celestial gatherer cultivation. Moreover, this person was someone that Striking Order Heavenly Emperor thought highly of. Breaking one of the legs of this person's uncle, how could he let it go? Ning Cheng also stood up. He could hear the conversation going on around him. The fellow whose leg was blown off by his punch had a very strong background. It seemed to be this black-robed cultivator who came over, called Lu Pingchuan or something. However, Ning Cheng was not afraid of it. This was not something he wanted to pick a fight with. It was the guy called Lu Xiao who took the initiative to find him. Lu Xiao's kick just now was to kill him. He didn't cause trouble, but he wasn't afraid of it. Lu Pingchuan's reputation was obviously very big, as when he came over, he immediately attracted a lot of cultivators to surround him. Did you just cripple Lu Xiao's leg? Lu Pingchuan stood in front of Ning Cheng and spoke with a cold voice. Lu Pingchuan, like his uncle, did not have a tall stature. Standing in front of Ning Cheng, he was half a head shorter than Ning Cheng. However, the powerful aura emanating from his body made everyone realize that he was a powerhouse. Ning Cheng calmly spoke up, "You should have said that Lu Xiao's sneak attacked me, but because of my self-defense, he lost a leg. So Lu Xiao was in the wrong, and you decided to punish him?" Lu Pingchuan's tone turned even colder. Ning Cheng wanted to slap him and say, "You bastard, you're right. That's exactly what you said." However, he still retained his rationality. Not to mention that he might not be a match for Lu Pingchuan. Even if Lu Pingchuan couldn't beat him, he couldn't fight against a genius in this place. This fellow had a backer, while he was alone. That's right. In this case, I was sitting here without moving, but Lu Xiao kicked me. He clearly wants my life. Ning Cheng's tone turned even calmer. Although I'm just an ordinary cultivator, if anyone wants my life, they would have to exchange it with their life. In other words, you also want to kill Lu Xiao. Lu Pingchuan's tone contained a strong murderous intent. Ning Cheng didn't want to answer Lu Pingchuan's words. If this fellow wanted to fight, then he would accompany him. There was nothing to say here. If someone wanted to kill him somewhere else, he would have already killed them. Why would he wait until now? Let's go to the Seeking Dao platform. I want to see what skills you have. Lu Pingchuan waved his hand, and a circular arc filled with murderous intent shot towards Ning Cheng. He hadn't even gone to the Seeking Dao platform to fight, yet he wanted to make Ning Cheng fall to the ground. Unfortunately, his move had no effect on Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng also waved his hand, and a powerful celestial essence fluctuation dissipated the circular arc filled with murderous intent. Ning Qing knew that although he hadn't gone into seclusion, he had listened to more than a day's worth of Tao discussions. As such, the way he attacked was completely different from before. Now that he made his move, he could lift something heavy as if it was light, in line with the laws of heaven and earth. Even so, with this move, he understood that he wasn't an opponent against Lu Pingxuan. No wonder you're so arrogant. You really do have a few tricks up your sleeve. Lu Pingxuan's eyes flashed with a sharp light as he stared at Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng felt the same disdain in his heart. If this were a place with no one around, this father would not have dissipated your murderous intent just now. With his character, he definitely wanted to fight back. Even if he couldn't beat this fellow, he wanted to let this bastard know that he wasn't a doe that anyone could need. Unfortunately, this was Lucky Heaven City's Tao discussion public square. No matter how much courage he had, he wouldn't dare to do anything to the genius cultivators here. Not to mention Striking Order Heavenly Emperor, even a Celestial River King could turn him into ashes with just a wave of his hand. If someone said that he defeated Lu Pingxuan and then gained the favor of Striking Order Heavenly Emperor, which would allow him to survive, Ning Cheng would never believe it. Not to mention whether he could beat Lu Pingxuan or not, even if he could kill Lu Pingxuan, whether he could live to see Striking Order Heavenly Emperor was another matter altogether. Taking a step back, even if he saw Striking Order Heavenly Emperor, so what? The first thing that Striking Order Heavenly Emperor would do was not to protect him, but to use his spiritual consciousness to search through Ning Cheng. Senior Apprentice Brother Ning, why are you here? Ruan Mingshu's shocked voice arrived, and she immediately squeezed through the crowd. She panicked. She never thought that Ning Cheng would meet with an accident even before entering the Time Wilderness. Junior Apprentice Sister Mingshu, do you know this person? Lu Pingxuan looked at Ruan Mingshu in doubt. Ruan Mingshu had a first-class appearance and figure. In this kind of gathering, as a beautiful female cultivator, she would naturally attract the attention of many male cultivators. Lu Pingxuan was a genius and also appreciated Ruan Mingshu. Ruan Mingshu quickly bowed to Lu Pingxuan and spoke, "Greetings, Senior Apprentice Brother Lu. Ning Cheng is my senior apprentice brother. We also came here together." After that, she anxiously spoke to Ning Cheng, "Senior Apprentice Brother Ning, this is Shang Mao Celestial River's genius, Senior Apprentice Brother Lu Pingxuan. You should quickly apologize." Ning Cheng spoke up in a calm voice, "I was attacked and had to defend myself. I don't know what kind of compensation I should give. Junior Apprentice Sister Mingshu, thank you for your concern. I stand up straight and sit up straight. If you want my life, then exchange it with your life. Not to mention a puny celestial gatherer cultivator, even if your Shang Mao Celestial River's king came, what can you do? Don't think of yourself as the universe's master. If you want to flip out in the future, think about it clearly. You are just a celestial gatherer ant, not the universe's master. Genius, I am also a genius. I am the universe's premier genius. You have to make everyone believe in you." The latter half of the sentence was directed at Lu Pingxuan. After knowing that Lu Pingxuan was from Shang Mao Celestial River, he felt even more disgusted with him. It's just that he could not kill Shang Mao Celestial River King right now. Otherwise, he would have already killed that shameless Celestial River King with his spear. Ruan Mingshu froze in place. She suddenly remembered that her words might have been useful to others, but for Ning Cheng, it was simply impossible. The surrounding people burst into laughter. Everyone could see that Ning Cheng was not a cultivator who could be easily pinched. Lu Pingxuan originally wanted to kill Ning Cheng, but Ning Cheng's words angered him to the point that his face turned livid. "Well, I agree with this friend's words. Stand upright and walk straight. If you want my life, then exchange it with your life." "Huh?" A voice from the crowd spoke up, followed by a burst of laughter. "Ma Jian, what do you mean by this?" Lu Pingxuan's tone turned even more murderous. Ning Cheng also looked at the person in doubt. This person looked very strong and had a sloppy expression on his face. This person was also a celestial gatherer cultivator. Ning Cheng did not know why this person wanted to speak up for him. However, since this Ma Jian could replace Lu Pingxuan, it meant that his background was not small. Lu Xiao, whose leg had been broken by Ning Cheng's punch, suddenly spoke up, Pingchuan, I was just exchanging pointers with a friend. But because my skills were not as good as the other party, my friend ended up sending me flying. I just happened to fly towards this person. I did not expect this person to be so cruel and merciless. Taking advantage of the fact that I did not have any ability to resist, he killed me by blowing off one of my legs. Lu Xiao's words, apart from Ning Qing, almost everyone believed it. That's right, Lu Xiao was also a celestial shatter cultivator. Even if he was not good enough, a punch from a celestial novice cultivator would not be enough to blow off one of his legs. The only explanation was that Lu Xiao was completely defenseless, which meant that Ning Qing wanted to kill him. What else do you have to say? If you have nothing else to say, then wash your neck and go to the Seeking Dao platform. The killing intent around Lu Pingchuan had already solidified, causing the cultivators around him to retreat. If this were not the Dao discussion public square, Ning Qing would have already started. I can prove that Lu Xiao's kick contained killing intent because I saw it with my own eyes. A sudden voice emerged. Chapter 5:32. Ning Qing noticed that the cultivator who helped him was a young female cultivator with a celestial gatherer cultivation. This female cultivator, on seeing Ning Qing looking at her, gave Ning Qing a smile and spoke, "I was just in the vicinity a moment ago." Lu Xiao and the other cultivators' exchange was clearly fake. In fact, his real goal was you. I can prove it. With two people coming out to speak up for him at the same time, Ning Qing believed that it was definitely not a coincidence. However, when he saw Shen Qinyu standing outside the crowd, he immediately understood what was going on. The reason why these two people spoke up for him was not because they could not stand to see injustice, but because of Shen Qinyu. Lu Pingchuan obviously did not think that there would be people who would do such an offensive thing like testifying for others. Although he felt unhappy in his heart, he also knew that he could not force Ning Qing to go to the Seeking Dao platform to fight him. If Ning Qing had deliberately hurt someone, even if his cultivation was higher than Ning Qing, he could still force Ning Qing to go to the Seeking Dao platform. Now that Ning Qing was the victim, if he wanted Ning Qing to go to the Seeking platform with him, he would have to get Ning Qing's consent first. With someone testifying for Ning Qing, Ruan Mingshu felt slightly relieved. But then she saw Zhao Yanxiang and quickly called out, "Senior apprentice brother Yanxiang." Ruan Mingshu did not finish her words, but Zhao Yanxiang understood what she meant. It was because he knew Lu Pingchuan, and Ruan Mingshu wanted him to intercede. Zhao Yanxiang was also secretly cursing Lu Xiao for being trash. He was the one who stirred up this matter. When he saw Ning Qing here, he immediately thought of a way to teach Ning Qing a lesson. Even if he killed him, it would not have mattered. What he did not expect was that Lu Xiao, a celestial shatter cultivator, would not be able to kill Ning Qing, a puny celestial novice cultivator. Now that things had gotten out of hand and Ruan Mingshu was calling for him, he could only walk over. When Ruan Mingshu saw Zhao Yanxiang, Ning Qing also saw Zhao Yanxiang. He just happened to see Zhao Yanxiang and Lu Xiao's instantaneous exchange of glances and understood what was going on. He said that he had no enmity with Lu Xiao, so why did Lu Xiao want to kill him? So it was because of that trash, Zhao Yanxiang. Lu Pingchuan simply did not wait for Zhao Yanxiang to speak, as he stared at Ning Qing and spoke in a cold voice. Since you can injure Lu Xiao with a single punch, then presumably you are also a powerhouse. Right now, I'm challenging you on the Dao Seeking stage. Do you have the guts to go up there? All the people were staring at Ning Qing. This was tantamount to pointing at his nose and challenging him. If Ning Qing did not go up, then he would truly be a coward. The most important thing for a cultivator was their pride. If they were called a coward and challenged by someone and didn't dare to fight, it would leave a mark in their heart. The scene turned silent. All eyes were focused on Ning Qing, waiting for Ning Qing to answer. Ning Qing showed a faint smile before suddenly looking at Lu Pingchuan and speaking, "Surnamed Lu, if an undead powerhouse challenged you on the Seeking Dao platform, would you dare to go up?" How could Lu Pingchuan not know Ning Qing's thoughts? He laughed and was just about to speak when Ning Qing once again stopped him and spoke, "Lu Pingchuan, don't rush to answer. I have a fire origin crystal here. If you dare to agree, I will take out this fire origin crystal and invite an undead powerhouse to spar with you. It's the Tao seeking, so of course I don't care about life or death." With that, Ning Qing raised his hand and raised a fire origin crystal. The cultivators at the scene, who were initially concerned about whether Ning Qing would accept the challenge or not, immediately stared at the fire origin crystal in Ning Qing's hand. The value of this thing was simply immeasurable, especially for fire-attributed cultivators. Ning Qing said that he would use a fire origin crystal to invite an undead powerhouse to challenge Lu Pingchuan, a puny celestial gatherer cultivator. A lot of people would definitely agree to it. Lu Pingchuan's expressions turned ugly to the extreme. He wanted to say that he would definitely agree to it, but Ning Qing took out a fire origin crystal, which was a completely different story. It meant that once he said those words, an undead powerhouse would immediately ask to challenge him on the Seeking Tao platform. Should he go up or not? This puny celestial novice ant turned out to be so ruthless, even daring to take out a fire origin crystal. At this time, not to mention an invitation, even without Ning Qing's invitation, several undead powerhouses had already stared at the fire origin crystal in Ning Qing's hand. Obviously, as long as Ning Qing opened his mouth, they would immediately challenge Lu Pingchuan. As for whether Lu Pingchuan agreed or not, it didn't matter at all. Lu Pingchuan took in a deep breath, stared at Ning Qing coldly and spoke, "An undead cultivator is 2 full realms higher than me, yet you want me, a celestial scryer cultivator, to challenge a celestial river cultivator on the Seeking Tao platform. Do you still have any face?" Ning Qing laughed, cupped his fists towards the crowd and spoke, "Friends, Lu Pingchuan just said that I want him to fight against a powerhouse 2 realms higher than me, which is shameless. I am in the celestial novice realm, while Lu Pingchuan is in the celestial gatherer realm, which is 2 realms higher than me. Yet, he wants me to challenge him on the Seeking Tao platform. Is this not shameless? Does Lu Pingchuan have a thick skin, thicker than a pig's buttocks?" The surrounding cultivators laughed, while Lu Pingchuan's hands trembled in anger. In fact, Ning Qing was confusing the concept. Although Lu Pingchuan was 2 realms higher than him, they were both in the celestial scryer realm. However, the difference between the undead realm and the celestial gatherer realm was not just a matter of 2 realms. This was an essential gap. Even a peak celestial gatherer cultivator could not compare to an ordinary celestial bridge cultivator. Lu Pingchuan's complexion could no longer be described as livid. At this moment, he almost vomited blood. Since he started cultivating until now, no one around him could beat him. No matter where he went, he was always the proud son of the people. With such a person, how could he be Ning Qing's opponent when it came to squeezing people? The surrounding cultivators also felt admiration for Ning Qing. Using such means to resolve the challenge, no one could say anything about it. One could even say that it was flawless. The only downside was that it exposed the fire origin crystal. Shen Qinyu and Ruan Mingshu also secretly praised Ning Qing's adaptability in their hearts. At the same time, they also felt a little worried in their hearts. After all, Ning Qing had exposed the fire origin crystal. This kind of thing was an extremely rare treasure. As long as one was a fire-attributed cultivator, there was no one who did not like this kind of thing. However, Ning Qing did not let go of Lu Pingchuan. He still looked at Lu Pingchuan with a sneer and spoke, "In other words, you are a coward, and do not dare to fight against an undead powerhouse on the Seeking Tao platform?" Lu Pingchuan clenched his fists tightly and stared at Ning Qing with a murderous look. "I am a coward, but aren't you also a coward? You also do not dare to fight against me on the Seeking Tao platform." Ning Qing laughed and raised his middle finger at Lu Pingchuan. "You're wrong. You are a coward, but I am not. When did I say that I would not accept your challenge? You are a coward who does not dare to accept other people's challenges. Don't think of everyone as the same as you. Remember, don't think of yourself as a genius in the future. Even if you are a genius, you are just a cowardly genius. Talking nonsense with people like you is just a waste of my time. Let's see the real deal on the Seeking Tao platform." After Ning Qing finished, he turned around and walked towards the Seeking Tao platform. The people around him could not understand it at this time. Ning Qing had already spoken so much, which proved that he did not need to step onto the Seeking Tao platform. Unexpectedly, after he scolded Lu Pingchuan as a coward, he still walked onto the Seeking Tao platform. Compared to the two, Lu Pingchuan was simply useless. Everyone knew that even if Lu Pingchuan defeated Ning Cheng, it would leave an indelible mark in his heart. Lu Pingchuan did not feel any joy from forcing Ning Cheng onto the Seeking Tao platform. Instead, he felt as if his heart was dripping blood. If he could, he would have swallowed Ning Cheng whole. Lu Xiao, who was still lying on the ground, on seeing Lu Pingchuan's appearance, felt his heart turn to ashes. He knew that he was in trouble. Lu Pingchuan was not only a genius from Shangmao Celestial River, but also a genius from the Lu clan. One could say that even 100 Lu Xiaos could not compare to a single finger of Lu Pingchuan. He was the one who started this matter. Ning Cheng's death did not mean anything, nor did he, Lu Xiao's death. However, Lu Pingchuan could not have any problems. Even if Lu Pingchuan's Dao heart suffered a small mark, it would still be a major event for the Lu clan. After this incident, he, Lu Xiao, could no longer stay in the Lu clan. Thinking of this, Lu Xiao stared at Zhao Yanxiang viciously. If not for this bastard's provocation, how could he start a feud with a little celestial novice cultivator like Ning Cheng for no reason? At this time, no one paid any attention to Lu Xiao's thoughts. Almost everyone had gathered around the Seeking Tao platform, focusing on the battle between Ning Cheng and Lu Pingchuan. Because of Ning Cheng and Lu Pingchuan's own words, the current Lu Pingchuan was clearly a cultivator without any guts. Ning Cheng, a little celestial novice cultivator who dared to accept the challenge of a celestial gatherer powerhouse, was the focus of everyone's attention. Yuan Mingshu and Shen Qinyu, the two people who were familiar with Ning Cheng, could not understand why Ning Cheng, after taking out the fire origin crystal to solve the problem, would still accept Lu Pingchuan's challenge. Zhao Yanxiang looked at Ning Cheng walking towards the Seeking Tao platform and felt his heart turn cold for no reason. He suddenly felt that taking the initiative to find an opponent like Ning Cheng was not a wise thing to do. Chapter 5:33. Gidge. Lu Pingchuan finally understood what was going on. This puny celestial novice ant actually dared to use body forging in a fight against him. Not only did he temper his body, but he was also on the verge of breaking through. Saying that, Ning Cheng not only did not bring out his magical weapon to resist, but rather operated his body forging cultivation method. His body tempering technique was also formless and invisible. Even in battle, he could still use it as he wished. He was sure that since Lu Pingchuan was known as a genius who loved to save face, even if he wanted to kill him, he would do it openly and honorably, and would absolutely not use any insidious sneak attacks. Besides, even if Lu Pingchuan decided to launch an insidious attack, he had the backing of his powerful domain, allowing him to avoid it in time. Whether it was because of the disparity in cultivation between Ning Cheng and Lu Pingchuan, or because of Lu Pingchuan's reputation as a genius, all of them were worth watching. At this moment, almost everyone in the Dao discussion venue had gathered around, wanting to see this duel between two realms of difference. Or rather, he wanted to see if Ning Cheng, a celestial novice cultivator who had almost caused Lu Pingchuan to spit out blood, had any skills, and whether he only had a sharp mouth. Ning Cheng gave out a sigh and was about to bring out the Nirvana spear to fight desperately when he heard a cold voice speaking up. Enough. Lu Pingchuan, you are a celestial gatherer cultivator and a celestial novice cultivator. You have already reached this point, there is no need to continue fighting. The Dao seeking platform of the Lucky Heaven City's Dao Discussion Assembly had always been relatively famous, and the number of cultivators dueling here was not small. It was not that there were no cultivators who fought on the Seeking Dao platform with a difference of 2 realms. However, there was no one like Ning Cheng and Lu Pingchuan, who had a difference of 2 realms, and who could not wait to kill each other. Blue veins popped out on Lu Pingchuan's forehead, while the number of invisible sound blade lights shot out from his symbols increased and became even more concentrated. Each of these blade lights contained a vast amount of celestial essence as they slammed into Ning Cheng's body. Ning Cheng, who originally wanted to bring out an ordinary spear, suddenly felt his heart move. He felt sure that his domain was not any worse than Lu Pingquan's. It's just that he had not used it to its fullest potential and was currently resisting it. Puff! Not waiting for Ning Cheng to twist his body, the copper symbol directly pierced through Ning Cheng's waist as it rolled up an arrow of blood. At the same time that Ning Cheng was sent flying by the symbols, he also spat out a mouthful of blood. His meridians were broken in an instant, and he was severely injured. However, they were reassembled in an instant. If the striking order Starry Skies had 10 major geniuses, and Lu Pingquan could rank 10th, then Tang Yu could easily rank in the top 3. However, that was not the main point. The main point was that this female cultivator had a powerful father, striking order Starry Skies' eternal level powerhouse, Tang Yitong. Ning Cheng crazily operated the body forging cultivation method, constantly using this kind of attack to temper his corporeal body. At this moment he could not wait for Lu Pingquan's attack to be even fiercer and more violent. Lu Pingquan stared at Ning Cheng sarcastically and spoke, "I haven't even started, and you already can't do it? Then, when I unleash an even more powerful attack, will you kneel on the ground and beg for mercy? Don't worry, I will torture you well." A burst of sighs emerged. Although this celestial novice cultivator had some guts, the gap between their cultivations was just too big. He felt sure that in just a few breaths, this celestial novice cultivator would fall under Lu Pingquan's hands. However, Lu Pingquan's domain was currently binding him. Moreover, this domain was completely different from ordinary domains. Ning Cheng felt sure that if he still had the same sea of consciousness as before, even if he advanced to the middle stage celestial novice realm, his domain would only barely be able to protect him from Lu Pingquan's powerful domain. Lu Pingquan's domain could suppress the other party's domain and then penetrate into the other party's domain. Throughout the entire Dao discussion hall, only Lu Pingquan and Ning Cheng understood what was going on. Ning Cheng did not want to fight anymore. He had just advanced to the grade 8 god body, and combined with the things he heard in the Dao Seeking Public Square today, he had already gained a lot. In this fight with Lu Pingquan, he had already achieved all of his goals, so why should he continue fighting? As the symbol blasted out, a sound that made people feel uncomfortable burst out. "You're courting death." Lu Pingquan no longer cared about slowly torturing Ning Cheng. The symbol in his hand turned into a faintly discernible pale golden shadow that quickly flew out. In a flash, Ning Cheng felt a force binding him, and the space around him completely squeezed. Ning Cheng secretly cursed in his heart. He had fought against many cultivators in the celestial scryer realm and knew that compared to previous fights, a starry sky cultivator's domain played a huge role. Ning Cheng had indeed reached the point where he was about to advance. Although the surface of his body was badly mangled and looked extremely horrifying, the fact was that his corporeal body was quickly condensing into a small area, indicating that his injuries were not that serious. Or rather, for this kind of injury, he did not even need to use medicinal pills to recover at any time. Lu Pingquan felt happy in his heart, and his attacks became even more intensive. He felt that this kind of torture to Ning Cheng would allow him to win back a little face and make him feel comfortable in his heart. Kaka! Ning Cheng felt for the first time that under such a fierce attack, he had to use his domain to resist it while also crazily operating the body forging cultivation method. This sense of crisis stimulated his body to the limit, causing his body forging cultivation method to rapidly rise. Soon, he reached the critical point of a grade 7 god body. Since his domain did not lose out to the other party, it was absolutely impossible for the other party to kill him in an instant. From this, one could imagine that if it were an ordinary celestial novice cultivator struggling under such a domain, the other party would have already quickly killed them. This fellow really did have a bit of a background, no wonder people called him a genius. Ning Cheng was the first to feel the horror. After the sound of the symbols penetrated into his domain, he felt uncomfortable all over, and a kind of incomparable discomfort washed over him. The only feeling he had was that he wanted to vomit. Moreover, he wanted to vomit out all of his internal organs. Just when Lu Pingquan thought that his domain had completely taken effect, a pair of symbols shot out. If that really happened, then Ning Cheng could only rely on his spear skills and celestial essence to fight back. However, since Lu Pingchuan could stretch out such a powerful domain, how could his magical skills and spirit techniques be weak? Poof poof poof. Streams of blood continuously splashed out, and Ning Cheng's flesh and blood turned into rags, dripping with blood. At this moment, Ning Cheng's entire body was covered in blood, and even the audience could hear the sounds of Lu Pingchuan's broken bones. However, Ning Cheng still calmly stared at Lu Pingchuan, holding a long sword that was only at the level of a true artifact in his hand to resist the attacks. Blood splattered and bones broke. Some of the cultivators in the audience stood on Ning Cheng's side, and even admired Ning Cheng's courage. Some of the cultivators could not bear to see Ning Cheng continue like this. It was not because they were soft-hearted, but rather, how many of the cultivators here had not killed before? It was just that this kind of bloody torture was much more bloody than a direct beheading. Something was not right, something was definitely wrong. Lu Pingchuan had a bad feeling in his heart. However, he soon felt that something was wrong. Ning Cheng's injuries were growing more and more, while his aura was growing stronger and stronger. There seemed to be a strange celestial essence fluctuation coming from him. What was going on? If this was not the strangest thing, then the fact that his domain had not completely crushed the other party's domain was the biggest surprise. I will let you understand what price you have to pay. After Lu Pingchuan stood on the Seeking Dao platform, he had already recovered his original calm, without any trace of impatience or anger. Ning Cheng knew that he was not an opponent against Lu Pingchuan, so he did not take the initiative to attack. Instead, he chose to evade to protect himself. He believed that it would not be easy for Lu Pingchuan to kill him. Lu Pingchuan knew that Ning Cheng was using him for body forging and wanted to kill Ning Cheng even more. However, when he heard the voice calling for him to stop, he had no choice but to stop. This female cultivator was called Tang Yu, and he knew the identity of the other party very well. She was also one of the geniuses of Striking Order Starry Skies. However, her reputation was not something he could compare to. However, this was not the final attack. As the sound of the cymbals grew deeper and denser, invisible blade lights slammed into Ning Cheng's body. At this moment, Ning Cheng felt a sense of panic in his heart. He felt that he was too arrogant. Lu Pingchuan had wanted to torture him before, so he did not kill him. Now that the other party wanted to kill him, if he continued with body forging, it would only be courting death. The Seeking Dao platform was different from ordinary dueling platforms. The dueling platforms were for life and death battles, while the Seeking Dao platform was for disputes over Dao laws. As long as he fought for a while, he would take the initiative to admit defeat. Ning Cheng did not feel afraid to admit defeat. Even if he could win, he did not intend to win. This kind of limelight thing, Ning Cheng would never do it, at least for now he would not be so stupid as to do such a thing. The people under the stage saw the two sides clash, and Ning Cheng immediately bound by Lu Pingchuan's domain. Lu Pingchuan's first attack had already injured Ning Cheng. Moreover, Ning Cheng had not even brought out a weapon until now. The moment the symbols pierced through Ning Cheng's domain, Ning Cheng felt it. Ning Cheng felt shocked to find that he could not resist it at all. Even if he brought out his Nirvana spear, he could not block it. Unless he brought out the everlasting Blue Thunder City. However, he had to bring out the everlasting Blue Thunder City as soon as possible. It was too late now. Thinking of this, Ning Cheng spoke up with the same disdain. Everyone knows that you are a coward. If you have any means, then bring it out. Your grandpa is waiting. Lu Pingchuan's mouth curled up with a deathly killing intent, causing the surrounding space to tremble. He wanted to tear apart Ning Cheng's domain and then kill Ning Cheng in one go. The next moment, Ning Cheng felt his bones begin to reconstruct, and his corporeal body finally advanced to a grade 8 god body. Ning Cheng was not an ordinary celestial novice cultivator. His sea of consciousness had already crossed the Nirvana tribulation and evolved into a starry sky sea of consciousness. Lu Pingchuan's domain could easily crush the domains of ordinary celestial novice cultivators and instantly kill the other party. However, it had no effect on Ning Cheng. No one spoke. At this time, almost everyone sympathized with Ning Cheng. Even Zhao Yanxiang, the one who caused this incident, had to admire Ning Cheng's guts for being able to hold on until now. Not only did he hold on until now, but Ning Cheng's injuries were getting more and more severe, but his killing intent was also getting stronger and stronger. Feeling that Ning Cheng could only stretch out a small space within his domain, Lu Pingchuan showed a grin. Did he think that relying on his mouth was enough? He had already made up his mind that if he did not make Ning Cheng suffer a fate worse than death, he would not be Lu Pingchuan. No, he absolutely could not let it go on like this. He was not an opponent against Lu Pingchuan. If he let the opponent attack him like this, he would die without a doubt. As blood spilled out, Ning Cheng felt his celestial essence rapidly diminishing, as if it would disappear in the next moment. After saying that, without waiting for Ning Cheng to answer, his surroundings turned blurry. The cultivators watching under the stage also couldn't help but admire Ning Cheng's guts. Despite being beaten to such a state, he still dared to ridicule Lu Pingchuan. Chapter 5:34. Although the name Tang Yitong sounded a bit awkward, within the striking order Starry Sky, Tang Yitong's name was extremely dazzling. Even striking order Heavenly Emperor had to give him some face. Not to mention that Lu Pingchuan was just a genius cultivator from Shangmao Celestial River. Even if he were the Shangmao Celestial River King, he would not dare to contradict Tang Yu in this place. What's more, Tang Yu's words were recognized by many people. Lu Pingchuan felt very depressed. Others did not know that Ning Cheng was using him for body forging. What the others saw was a celestial novice cultivator covered in cuts and bruises. He, a celestial gatherer powerhouse, beating up a celestial novice cultivator to such a state was not something to be proud of. But how could he say such a thing? If he said it out loud, he would be slapping himself in the face. If others knew that a celestial gatherer powerhouse fought against a celestial novice cultivator, and that this celestial novice cultivator could use him to temper his body, what kind of genius would he be? Ning Cheng casually took out a robe and put it on. As he walked down the Seeking Tao platform, each step he took left behind a trail of blood. Ruan Mingshu hurriedly came up to support Ning Cheng. In her view, Ning Cheng's injuries were not light. Moreover, she had a vague feeling that this matter had something to do with her. Although Ning Cheng knew that his current situation was much better than before he stepped onto the Seeking Tao platform, he did not refuse Ruan Mingshu's kindness. From this, it could be seen that he was indeed far from being Lu Pingchuan's opponent. Moreover, the disparity was not just a little. It was obvious. Everyone had seen it. He was beaten up on the forum stage to the point where he couldn't even fight back. Lu Pingchuan looked at Ning Cheng's back, before his face finally regained its calm. At this moment, he no longer regarded Ning Cheng as a celestial novice cultivator who did not know the immensity of heaven and earth. This celestial novice cultivator was not only far stronger than ordinary celestial novice cultivators, but also had a terrifying mind. He absolutely could not allow this person to grow, or else it would become his nightmare. But for Tang Yu to tell him to stop, he was even somewhat grateful. If he really killed Ning Cheng on the Seeking Tao platform, then he would be able to vent his anger, but his reputation would only worsen. If this news spread out, it would definitely not be a good thing to hear. He, a celestial gatherer cultivator, challenged a celestial novice cultivator, and ended up beating the celestial novice cultivator to the point of being covered in blood before finally killing the celestial novice cultivator. Others did not know about Ning Cheng's insidiousness, as such he could only grit his teeth and swallow this matter. If he wanted to kill Ning Cheng, he would have many opportunities to do so. Moreover, this person also wanted to enter the Time Wilderness. Once he reached the Time Wilderness, he did not believe that he could not kill a celestial novice cultivator. Ning Cheng deliberately walked to the front of the female cultivator who had stopped him, cupped his fists and spoke, "Many thanks to this senior apprentice sister for speaking up in a righteous manner. Otherwise, Ning Cheng would have died without a doubt." This female cultivator had only spoken a few words, yet Lu Pingchuan had immediately stopped. Ning Cheng immediately understood that the other party's background was definitely not small. "Are you called Ning Cheng?" "Hello, my name is Tang Yu, and I'm also going to the Time Wilderness." Tang Yu showed a slight smile and did not speak much about the matter of standing up for justice. Ning Cheng quickly replied, "Yes, my name is Ning Cheng." Tang Yu's appearance looked very ordinary. When she smiled, there were two small dimples on the corner of her mouth, which looked very warm and sweet. However, Ning Cheng could clearly feel that Tang Yu's strength was not any worse than Lu Pingchuan's. In fact, she might even be a lot stronger. Lu Pingchuan was already strong enough, but there was still someone more powerful than him. Moreover, this was just the striking order Starry Sky. From this, it could be seen that the Starry Sky's powerhouses were as numerous as the hairs on an ox. You're not bad. By the way, I also have a Fire Origin spiritual root. If you want to sell your Fire Origin crystal, I can take it back. When Tang Yu spoke, the smile remained on her face. Ning Cheng suddenly understood why there were so many kind-hearted people around today. It turned out that Tang Yu had also taken a fancy to his Fire Origin crystal. However, Tang Yu had spoken about the Fire Origin crystal in front of so many people, which meant that she was helping him. Ning Cheng had a lot of Fire Origin crystals on him. Even if he used one to buy the mask and gave one to Shi Yulan, he still had more than a dozen pieces on him. As for these Fire Origin crystals, he had no intention of selling them. After all, he also had a Fire Origin spiritual root, which might come in handy in the future. Now that Tang Yu asked him to buy a piece of Fire Origin crystal, Ning Cheng did not hesitate to take it out and put it in Tang Yu's hands. "Thank you, Senior Apprentice Sister Tang. I was just looking for a place to sell this Fire Origin crystal. Now that Senior Apprentice Sister is willing to help me, it would be for the best." Tang Yu happily took the Fire Origin crystal that Ning Cheng handed to her and said, "I don't know what Junior Apprentice Brother Ning wants. Celestial coins, weapons, or something else?" Ning Cheng hesitated for a moment before speaking. "I still have some celestial coins on me. I use axes and I want a good axe. If you have jade strips for the Tao of Arrays, the Tao of Alchemy, or the Tao of Talismans, it would also be useful to me." Tang Yu put away the Fire Origin crystal and smiled. "I didn't know that you had such a wide range of hobbies. So be it, in 3 days I will send these things to your residence." "Many thanks, Senior Apprentice Sister Tang." Ning Cheng once again cupped his fists towards Tang Yu and immediately left with Ruan Mingshu. Tang Yu did not ask about his residence. Ning Cheng felt sure that it would be too easy for Tang Yu to investigate his residence. Moreover, it was also a good thing that Tang Yu took away the Fire Origin crystal, which reduced the attention of others on him. "Senior Apprentice Brother Ning, are you all right?" It was not until Ning Cheng had walked far away that Ruan Mingshu finally found the opportunity to ask Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng smiled and said to Ruan Mingshu, "Many thanks for Junior Apprentice Sister Mingshu's concern. I'm fine. The Tao discussion has just begun. Junior Apprentice Sister can take care of herself. No need to worry about me." "What about you?" Ruan Mingshu looked at Ning Cheng with some worry. "I'm going back to the rest stop to heal. When the Time Wilderness opens, Junior Apprentice Sister, just remember to call me." After saying that, Ning Cheng quickened his pace and quickly left the Tao discussion hall. Ruan Mingshu watched Ning Cheng disappear and felt some doubts in her heart. Initially, she thought that Ning Cheng had a serious injury. However, the moment she held Ning Cheng, she felt that Ning Cheng's injuries did not seem to be that serious. Moreover, she did not expect that Ning Cheng would even have a Fire Origin crystal. From the looks of it, she still did not know enough about Ning Cheng. She did not even ask about how Ning Cheng came to this place. From the beginning to Ning Cheng's departure, Shen Qinyu did not say a single word. Returning to his residence, Ning Cheng cleaned himself up before continuing to sort out his gains. Now that he had advanced to a rank 8 god body, those seemingly serious injuries were nothing compared to a rank 8 god body. During the battle with Lu Pingchuan, Ning Cheng had not made a single move except to resist. However, he still benefited a lot from it. Lu Pingchuan's powerful domain had allowed him to reach a new level of understanding of domains. He believed that as long as he went into seclusion to sort out his gains, Ning Cheng's domain would eventually become complete. This made Ning Cheng even more convinced that fighting against opponents who were more powerful than him would allow him to grow even faster. It was just that time constraints prevented Ning Cheng from going into deep seclusion. He did not know when Tang Yu would send him something, nor did he know when the time wilderness would open. Tang Yu did not let Ning Cheng wait for long. The next day, she arrived at the rest stop where Ning Cheng was staying. Greetings, Senior Apprentice Sister Tang. Towards Tang Yu, Ning Cheng was still very polite. No matter from which point of view, Tang Yu had helped him a lot. Tang Yu walked into Ning Cheng's room and looked around before speaking with a smile. No wonder Junior Apprentice Brother Ning wanted a jade strip for the Tao of Arrays. It turns out that Junior Apprentice Brother Ning is a Grade 1 Celestial Array Master. She had already noticed that Ning Cheng had arranged some array formations in the room, all of which were Grade 1 Celestial Arrays. Ning Cheng felt slightly surprised in his heart. This was a true genius. From Tang Yu's words, he understood that Tang Yu not only had amazing strength, but also had a higher understanding of the Tao of Arrays than him. He could only achieve this with the help of the mysterious yellow formless. However, Tang Yu might not necessarily have such an achievement. Before I reached the Celestial Scryer realm, I learned array formations from my master for a period of time. Therefore, I only have a superficial understanding of array formations. Ning Cheng spoke modestly. Tang Yu giggled. Junior Apprentice Brother Ning, you are not being modest. Although you are a Grade 1 Celestial Array Master, you still have a superficial understanding of array formations. Generally, only Imperial Array Masters who can arrange Grade 4 Celestial River Array formations are qualified to say that they have a superficial understanding of array formations. From this, it can be seen that Junior Apprentice Brother Ning has just arrived at the starry skies and does not know many of the rules. Ning Cheng's face also turned red. He had thought that he was being modest, but he did not expect that in the ears of others, he was not being modest, but boasting shamelessly. You don't have to be embarrassed. You have not studied systematically. It's already amazing for you to have this level. I am also a Celestial Array Master, and I'm currently a Grade 3 Celestial Array Master. We can exchange pointers with each other in the future. Seeing Ning Cheng's embarrassment, Tang Yu did not continue to joke with Ning Cheng. After that, she took out 2 jade strips and handed them to Ning Cheng. These are the Starry Sky Tao of Alchemy and the Starry Sky Tao of Arrays. The Tao of Alchemy is the Real foundation, but the Tao of Arrays is not necessarily the foundation. My father is a Grade 7 Emperor Array Grandmaster, so he has a better understanding of the Tao of Arrays. Tang Yu then took out a palm-sized axe and put it in Ning Cheng's hand. This axe is called the Wishful Demon Axe. It is a middle-grade Tao artifact that my father left for me. I will now give it to you. As soon as the axe fell into his hand, a heavy feeling washed over him. Coupled with Tang Yu saying that this axe was a middle-grade Tao artifact, Ning Cheng understood that his fire origin crystal could not be exchanged for so many good things. He quickly declined. Senior Apprentice Sister Tang, this is too precious. My fire origin crystal is not worth this much. Tang Yu smiled. Ning Cheng, a middle-grade Tao artifact might be precious to you, but it is nothing to me. Moreover, among the things I gave you, the most precious thing is not this middle-grade Tao artifact, but the jade strip for the Tao of Arrays. You will know about it later. I asked for your fire origin crystal on the spot. First, I really need this thing, and second, I want to help you. I think that although your cultivation is low, I appreciate your character. If you don't mind, then we will be friends from now on. Tang Yu spoke so openly and honestly, which was to Ning Cheng's liking. He no longer remained polite and put away all the things Tang Yu brought and said, Tang Yu, we will be friends from now on. Tang Yu, on hearing Ning Cheng not call her senior apprentice sister, giggled and said, okay, see you later. After saying that, she turned around and quickly disappeared from the rest stop. Ning Cheng took a while to activate the restrictions. This Tang Yu really was straightforward. She did not tell Ning Cheng about teaming up in the desolate domain, nor did she leave behind a communication pearl. However, Ning Cheng felt that Tang Yu, whom he had just met twice, was more reliable than Ruan Mingshu. It was a complete intuition. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.